Have you spoken to him?
I've not been allowed to speak to him yet at all.
At all?
Not at all, no.
There is a lot of talk about his mental health here, and you say that he... And so we'll get to what he's accused of in just a moment, but the process that led up to that. He had problems from puberty, you say?
From 2 years old, I noticed that there were differences, but they were relatively sort of on a back burner. But once he sort of hit puberty and started at secondary school, everything just went spiralling out of control for him. He was bullied a lot at school. He played truant a lot at school because people were noticing he was very different, and he just, you know, couldn't
Different
cope.
in what way?
Just behavioural issues. Because he has a form of autism, you know, it does make them very different, and obviously people were then sort of picking up on that more, which they hadn't done at primary school.
And he also had OCD, he had an eating disorder, and at one point in his teenage years he was sectioned. And
That's
for
right.
you as his mother, this is heartbreaking to watch your child going through something like this.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd fought long and hard from 11 till 14 to get some care for him. And when we were able to access it, we were told basically it was too late because he'd been left so long. His behaviours were so ingrained and his eating had gone downhill to such a point that there was no other option.
Too late. That's extraordinary.
Well, one GP had even said to me, well, he's not going to starve himself to death, is he? But that is essentially what happened. You know, he had to be hospitalised.
So, obviously, when the discussion, and I don't know how it was within the family, of him going to America arose for the first time, what did you say?
It was horrific. We were just completely shocked. It was a bolt out the blue. He'd never wanted to go anywhere.
Did he say why he wanted to go to America?
No, not at first. We just assumed because he was sort of 18, a lot of his friends were going to university or travelling, that was just sort of his attempt at trying to have a normal life.
And you didn't want him to go? You were worried about him?
No, very much. Our GP was very worried. I went to police and mental health services. They were all very concerned, but because he was an adult, there was literally nothing they could do, you know, unless he was mentally incompetent, which he's not. He's very intelligent.
So off he goes, he travels to America, and your communication with him was erratic. I mean, you sort of bits, dribs and jabs, but really you lost him. You didn't know where he was.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the first sort of point that there was a problem was he'd promised to come back 6 weeks later for his little sister's birthday, and he idolised his little sister, and then he just suddenly rang and said he couldn't come. And he couldn't really say why, and it's been like that ever since. We've been begging him to come back. He's always had a flight on offer, and he just says, I can't.
So, he's in America for 18 months, and then you get a call from the Foreign Office.
Yeah.
And it wakes you up. Mm-hmm. And what did they say?
They said we found him because I had reported to the police our concerns, and they had been trying to track him down for some time. So at first I was delighted that they'd tracked him down, and I asked where, and obviously it was completely the other side of America from where I'd known him to be. And then they said he was arrested, so I asked what for, and then literally my world just crumbled. You know, I just couldn't believe it. It's a complete and utter change of character. The Michael that I grew up with, right till the point he left, he was kind, compassionate, caring, sensitive. He was always writing me little sort of soppy love you mum cards. I mean, what 18-year-old boy does that? He would hold doors open for you. You know, it's just a complete and utter change of character.
And what about, I mean, was he politically motivated?
He had never mentioned politics to me or his father in his entire life, or to anyone as far as I know.
And so this came as a complete shock to you. He'd been living in a car.
Well, we didn't even know that. I mean, that's it. We didn't know anything. He wouldn't tell us anything. And it was our fear all the way along that somebody had brainwashed him or manipulated him in some way.
Because he was so vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think that his care is likely to be in America? Because obviously he has mental health issues here.
I mean, the authorities over there weren't aware of any issues. I've only spoken to one person from the US authorities, and he had no idea of anything to do with Michael whatsoever. So obviously now I'm just trying to make everyone aware of the issues.
Well, his public defender said he appeared to be competent and hadn't been diagnosed with a mental illness.
That's completely
untrue. And that's
untrue.
his public defender?
Yeah. I had a long phone call with her last night. She's now in possession of all the documents. And yes, he's got a long history of problems, you know, diagnosis and issues. So clearly something has gone very, very wrong in this last year, and we need to get to the bottom of it.
And what you do know is that he's being held in isolation.
That's right, yeah.
22 hours a day, no windows, no communication with anybody.
No, which is not good for anybody's mental health, is it?
No, absolutely not. And his father has been out to see him.
Yes.
How much contact did he manage to have?
He was allowed a 1-hour chat via video link, which is why, you know, we desperately want Michael brought back to the UK, because we need to see him. You know, at least over here they're humane enough to allow you face-to-face prison visits.
The trouble is that you're fighting the massive American system here. Here's a young man who has obvious mental health issues, who appeared to be attempting to assassinate a presidential candidate. They won't look kindly on him, will they?
No, I understand that, but I mean, we need to look a lot deeper to find out where these ideas have come from, what's caused, you know, such an affable, gentle, kind lad to turn into something completely different.
When are you hoping to talk to him?
I've no idea. No, I've no idea.
And are the Foreign Office attempting to try and get you into contact with him?
Not to my knowledge, no. I've only had the one phone call from them, which was when they woke me up that night to tell me he'd been arrested.
Well, the Foreign Office say that we've offered advice and information to the family in this case. We'll continue to do so. We'll remain in contact with Mr. Sanford's legal representatives and have submitted a request to visit him. I can't imagine, you know, this is so horrible for you.
Yeah, it's devastating.
But hopefully you'll get some sort of resolution. And
Thank you.
And hopefully you'll
I'm trying to do everything I can for him this end, as I'm not able to fly out at the moment.
Yeah.
I've contacted sort of various organisations and just trying to reach out to anyone who can help, basically.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
I was driving to therapy and I got caught in a bit of traffic. I was looking for any excuse not to go, so I just turned the car back around. And I was really pleased with Mandy, because a lot of people have gone, oh, she just don't want to turn up. But what it was so raw, going through the therapy experience, that actually all the things you've buried over the years, you are now digging back up.
They're saying the hair is out of order. You're saying the hair is part of your religious and cultural beliefs. So explain more about that to us.
Basically, you know, where we come from, we as a people need to identify that. Now, for us as a family, I can only speak for my family. For us as a family, we are Hebrewites. It also goes in the category of Rastafaris.
Yes.
But the thing about it, people have a stigma about Rastas. Rastas, in people's eyes, is that they stay home, smoke weed, and, you know, the normal thing. But in my household, we don't touch the stuff.
Yes.
Is Rastafarian a religion or a culture?
It is both. It is both. You can put it in a religion form, because if you read the Bible, it also says that when the Lord came, his hair was like wool. It clearly says it in the Bible. In a culture where I come from, kids, this is how they wear their hair.
So, Mum, you will say, you know, I think the fear would be this is a fashion trend. And your point is absolutely not.
It's not a fashion trend.
So here's the problem. I think, you know, the school have their policy, and you can argue it one way or the other with you, but you can also argue surely the school, before they took Chickasee on board, they should have understood the child that they were accepting into the school, surely.
Or told you that their hair wasn't acceptable.
Yes.
Did you have any kind of conversation with them?
Not about my son's hair, because as far as I was concerned, it was not an issue. As far as, in my opinion, it wasn't an issue. I went to several occasions to different meetings in the school. Everything they send us to go to, I will go. I bring my son with me. I had a meeting, not a meeting as such, a conversation with the headmaster. He shook my hand, he shook Chickasee's hand, he said, welcome to Fulham Boys School. He said it'll be a pleasure.
Okay. So you say you had read the school rule book, and there was nothing in there. There were mention of that they couldn't have hair beyond their collar, but Chickasee ties his hair up.
That's exactly.
So Chickasee, tell us your first day. This is Fulham Boys School in London. What happened on your first day then? Who first mentioned to you that your hair was not acceptable?
I was in class, and then my head of house came in, and then she asked me if I can come out of class for a second, and then she told me that by Monday my hair has to be cut.
So what did you feel at that point? What did you think about what she was saying to you?
Well, I was upset and I was a bit worried, because I really wanted to go to that school.
So you love the school, you're a good student, you want to be at school. So when
Except
he came
you're now being
home-
treated differently,
Yeah.
aren't you? You're being isolated, or what way are they treating you within school? Because they see every day you come in, looking the way you do, they see it as defiance and disobedience. So you're being punished for that, are you? What way are you being punished?
Well, on Monday, and they took me out of class, and then they brought me into isolation.
When you say isolation, what do you mean? Where did they put you?
They brought me into the head of house office, and then they made us.
Okay, let me just explain the school's point of view on this one for people. The headmaster, Alan Ebenezer, says we're a strict academic boys' school with a very distinct ethos. We have a very strict uniform and appearance policy, which includes hair. Hair cannot be shorter than a number 2, longer than your collar, and must be one natural colour, no braids, no dreadlocks and no cult hairstyles. We are treating this as a cultural issue at the moment and are surprised that the parents have not discussed this with us sooner and left it to the start of term. So I hear what Mr Ebenezer is saying, but you're saying you met him or you met officials of the school before Chickasee was appointed. So he knew, or he should have raised that point with you then. We put it to you, headmaster, that you should have raised that then.
But also, you're saying it doesn't. He's mentioning dreadlocks there, but actually, in the written rule book, it doesn't say the word dreadlocks at all.
At all, because that's the thing about me. I'm a strict mom. Okay,
Yes.
so before even he went into the school, 2 things he did. He spent an entire day in the school. Nothing was mentioned to me. I sat down, downloaded it, the policy, read it through. I said, okay, fine. They said no twists.
How do you feel about him being isolated?
Yes, because it says, the headmaster was on to say that anyone who refuses to follow school policy faces exclusion. Boys from all cultures and backgrounds are welcome and feel part of the school. And if you don't adhere to the policy, there is no point in having a policy. So this could result on him being booted out of the school.
Yes.
So have you taken this further than the headmaster?
Well, I've written the headmaster. I followed their procedure again. That's on the website. I've written to the headmaster, and he refused to write back to me.
So what happens now? I mean, I have to say that Chickasee doesn't have permission from the school to be out of school today. That's your choice to bring him out of school and bring him here. So what do you want to happen now? What do you think will happen now?
Well, at the end of the day, the main thing and the most important thing is my son's education. And for a headmaster to be sticking to this sort of policy, it is absolutely wrong.
But Tuesday, if the main thing is your son's education, you maybe could argue that then the hair has to go, the dreadlocks have to go.
No, it doesn't.
So then that's not the main thing, his education isn't the main thing.
Education is his main thing, because I had other kids and they all went to school and they all got education, very good education, and they're all in very good positions at the moment.
And they all had dreadlocks.
And they all had dreadlocks.
When the penny dropped and you looked at each other and said, not you as well, what was that conversation like, Chloe? What do you remember about that?
Well, I actually came out as like gender fluid before I came out as transgender. And so I remember I went to my graduation and I had the hair and makeup. I had long extensions and a full face of makeup and just really neutral clothing. And Jamie turned to me in the kitchen that night and she was like, you just look so beautiful, you look like a beautiful woman, like. And she was like, do you think this could be like something that you want to change your gender? And I was like, to be honest, I'm not sure. And it took me a while after that to kind of really figure everything out in my head, because it's a big deal.
It's a very big
Had you already
deal.
made up your mind at this stage?
I had had the conversation with my best friend, but I hadn't come out or anything. It was looking at Chloe, the way she was dressing was more like, I could see she was being so free in herself. I wasn't like that at all. I was really scared to kind of all of a sudden start presenting as something else, you know? So I was looking up to Chloe, and that's why I asked Chloe, because I thought, you know, if she is, we could go on this journey together, because I definitely knew I felt that way. It was just about telling people, like, I didn't tell people.
And when did they tell you?
September last year. I came back from Greece and Jamie FaceTimed me and said, you know, I am transgender. So I wasn't surprised, but I suppose it means a change for her to, I suppose we use gender all the time without even realising it, you know, her, him. And so those pronouns needed to change. I didn't have an issue because I suppose really I gave birth to 2 beautiful babies. And they're still my children. So, you know, gender really isn't an issue for me, but I understand that.
But you've new children, in a way. Do you miss those old children, or have you yourself transformed into, you know, a different mum?
I've definitely, over the last few weeks, I would imagine, even have just come to terms and accepted that, yes, this is right for them, this is part of what they need to do.
And Mum has been incredibly supportive. How important has that been for you in this transition, this journey?
Well, I suppose it was never, like, I never felt like I had to keep any secrets, or I didn't want to say something in case I upset her, because I know that she wanted to know everything. She wanted to be there for me, and she wanted to support me. So
where are we at as regards the transitioning? What stage are you at? Do you seek counselling first of all, or what happens?
Yeah, so you do like a psych evaluation, and then you go on to do your hormone replacement therapy. And I'm kind of just after doing the psych evaluation, so I'm on my way to getting the hormones.
Are you scared by this or excited by this?
Excited. You're dragging around this body that you don't want to drag around, you know, and it gets really, really tiring and kind of depressing. And I think once we start the HRT, we'll start noticing the differences, and going through that female puberty is going to be really, really exciting.
Gosh, tell me more about the exciting bit, Jamie. The old Jamie and the new Jamie, I mean, obviously a dramatic difference in terms of looks.
Yeah.
Where do you go as your reference point? I mean, look at the change there, look at the transformation there. Who do you base this new person on? Where do you get all your ideas from? Because this is a new learning curve for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I think I'm the same person. Like, I'm just like wearing heels and have
style
hair.
and things. Where are you going for that? Your hair?
My hair, first of all, like, that was a gift. We got a gift from the hair extensions by Kira Lambert. She's a celebrity hairstylist, and she heard about our story, and she was like, you know, I'm going to do something for you. And that was actually the first day that I started presenting as a female and fully presenting as a female. So that's really important to me, that, you know, I have my long hair and stuff. And I don't know, I suppose Britney Spears is like, I'm a big fan of Britney Spears and I look up to her, so maybe that's where the blonde hair comes from.
And what about you? Was that a big change for you, the hair? Was that a big step forward?
Yeah, well, I'm training as a hairdresser, so it saved a lot of time clipping. Instead of clipping in the extensions every day, just having them there, so.
And what about partners? Are you looking for love, both of you?
I found love.
You found love?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I did. Like 2 months ago, we went to a transgender training facility. It was set up by the TENI group, which is the Transgender Equality Network in Ireland. And didn't go there looking for love, went there looking to find out more about myself, but yeah. Harry walked in and
And you met Harry?
Harry.
Okay.
Mum, there's a lot of happiness here. You can see this. And, you know, you were just talking about how you have recently used the term accepted what's going on. Has that been difficult for you? Is that a reluctant acceptance? Or where are you at now? Where are the family at? Because you'll be as strong as, I suppose, the people who are around you as well.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I have a lot going on. My dad is deteriorating slowly, and so I've been very emotional around that anyway. So it's hard to kind of see, you know, how I actually feel. But it's it's not been a reluctant acceptance. No. I mean, they're my children. I love them to bits. I love them more than anything or anyone in the world, and that
must mean a lot to you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just want your children to be happy, don't you?
Absolutely.
Which you are.
Yeah.
Very loving family. Thank you very much indeed.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
Do you take losing well?
Well, as long as I've got better than I expected, yes.
Yeah.
So if your sister whoops you, you're going to be fine with that?
Then I will brutally murder her.
He's joking.
Really?
That's a joke.
Joking.
My next guests have been celebrated in a hit show called Fleabag, which we all know about, have a superstar fan in Celine Dion, and are unsuspectingly achieving cult status, Joes.
Yeah, often mistaken for nothing more than a beginner's pet. We're joined now by 12 guinea pigs, starring in the new Netflix documentary, The Keeper of Pigs, alongside their owner, Jamie Eglinton Parks, who says that these furry little loves helped him through one of the most difficult times of his life. And Dr. Scott is also here with us with some unmissable advice. Jamie, Dr. Scott, welcome to This Morning. Jamie, they're so cute. Can I just ask who we have here? Because you can see that they've got real little characters already.
They have. So this one's Aberdeen.
Aberdeen?
Everest.
Is he Scottish?
So the belted, the lady that created the breed is Scottish.
Okay.
So the belted all have Scottish names. It's generally just my show pigs that get names. But they've all got their own characters.
And what is it you love about them so much? Is it...
Well, I love watching them. I've actually loved watching them whilst you've been over there. I've sat there watching them, and it's just watching them interact and going off and getting their food and then running back to the house. And
they're really funny, aren't they?
It's really hypnotic, actually.
This one's got a real little character, Craig.
Look, can people at home hear the sounds they're making? I wonder.
If I lean over, little noises, aren't
can you
they?
hear the sounds? There's this little. It's such a cute little. Yeah. It's like a squeal, isn't it, Jamie? Yeah. That's a content sound they're making,
yeah,
is it?
So that means they're happy. When you go into my garage and if you rustle a bag, they sing like birds. They're like, I've been on the phone to people before and they're like, have you got birds? Yeah. I'm like, no, I've got guinea pigs.
How many have you got?
I've got 80. Or about 80. When
80?
There's babies and the numbers go up and down, they fluctuate.
All in your garage?
Well, I built a garage specifically for them. So it's 16.5 foot squared and it is insulated, lined in plastic. It's got heating, hot and cold running water. When I bought my house, I wanted somewhere that actually I enjoyed going down to.
There's a whole subculture out there about guinea pigs. We saw it in the documentary. There are guinea pig shows. Yep. All the breeders get in touch with each other, but also there's a lot of guinea pig rescuers who are playing a very important role out there because they are overbred and not very responsibly as well by some people. Obviously, you guys are the responsible side of things here. Talk to us about that world.
So the rescues, there are so many in the rescues. As you saw in the documentary, Shaz, she's constantly got influxes of 50 and 80 and so many coming in, and sometimes they can be in such bad condition and they just don't have the funding. You'll see on the documentary, there's times where Shaz feels like she just needs to close down because she's just running so low on funds, and they're there to help and people need to support them.
And, I mean, support you do. I mean, you are a judge at, like, guinea pig shows across the country, aren't you? But they're not actually called guinea pigs. What's their real name, you know?
So they're called cavies.
Cavies?
Which is a technical name for them. Guinea pig is a nickname, and it will have come from the fact that they were probably a guinea when they came over, so it was...
Oh, guinea to buy them?
Yes.
OK, all right.
So it was a nickname, the guinea pig.
Oh. Yes, because they're actually from South America, really, rather than, New Guinea, for example.
Yeah.
Dr. Scott, just because they're small doesn't mean they don't need a lot of care, right?
Absolutely. In fact, I would say they're one of the most neglected pets that we have in the UK. Probably rabbits are number one, and then guinea pigs number two. It's just because kids have a short attention span, and although they are a wonderful starter pet in that they are pretty low maintenance, they're pretty healthy, they're sort of simple creatures to look after and care for. When children have short attention spans, they run out of interest and affection, and if the parents aren't stepping up, then they do sort of get left at the bottom of the garden. You can, of course, have them in enclosures that are quite small because they are a small animal, but I think that belies what they actually need. You can get nutrition really wrong. People will feed them a lot of pellets rather than the hay food that you can see here. And actually, they're an animal where their teeth constantly grow throughout their life. So if they're not eating almost like 20 hours a day, their teeth will overgrow, and it's almost like jail bars, and then they can starve to death. So it is an animal that needs to be so carefully looked after, and I think and they live a lot longer than people think as well.
Oh, this how one's long trying to hide in
here. So they can live sort of 5 to 6 years. A lot of people go, oh, maybe they're like 1 to 2, like, say, a hamster, but actually they live a lot longer. And I think when you think about kids, Joe, you know, Reg, like, when the kids are a certain age, they want a guinea pig. 5 years later, they might have got bored real quick. So you need to be the one looking after the guinea pig long after the child's given up their interest.
And just quickly, sorry, Craig, is it best to buy one on their own or a pair?
Always more than one. They like a community. They like chatting to each other. They are very sweet with one another. But the saying, bred like rabbits, they also breed like guinea pigs.
Yeah.
So you do need to make sure that you have them in same-sex couplings, or you can neuter them. So it's best to maybe neuter the male, and then you have them with females. Because I believe this guy's a boar, isn't he?
Yep, so 11 sows and 1 boar, but he's been neutered. He keeps them in check.
You can see how confident he is, actually, because the others are actually... This little albino one here is hiding behind the hay. Just very quickly, Jamie, before we let them go back home. I mean, they have helped you in your life. You've had a tough time, and they've brought calm to your life.
So they helped me through my divorce. They... I think for anyone, it's a time of upheaval and change, even if it's mutual. But having something to be able to concentrate on and put all your energy into. I spent a whole year, and I got 2 very good friends, and we went to shows all over the country, nearly every weekend. And it just gave me something to really focus on.
Jamie, thank you for bringing them in. They're so lovely, and good luck in all your shows and your documentary. And thank you, Dr. Scott. It was really good advice. Thank you.
And thank you, gang.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. Particularly you, big gang. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Just explain the living conditions that you've got, because you've got separate houses, obviously, but then you have, they've got a gravel yard which you need to cross to get access to your property.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so there is an agreed right-of-way here.
The right-of-way, to be clear, it was one property.
Yeah.
It's been divided into 2.
Right.
And the property, which is ours, has a right-of-way over all their yard for both vehicular and pedestrian access.
Got it, as we can see in the picture here.
And so everything was pretty well okay until, and they had a young daughter, and they decided that they wanted to put up 2 sets of gates, the front gates and the gates closer to the house, to protect her, make sure she couldn't get out onto the street. Yeah. Okay, so when did it start to go wrong?
It started to go wrong when we used our access a little bit more. So initially the outer gates were placed for security of both properties, which we agreed, and then the inner gates were placed on the agreement that they would only be shut when their daughter was out playing. And this worked perfectly to start with, the few times it happened, because I would drive home and I would see both gates are shut, and I would think, she's out in the yard. So I'd be very tentative in coming across and driving to the other side.
Yeah.
Over a period of time, this developed where the gates were shut all the time, and I had my suspicions as to why that might be.
Yeah.
And then there was a point where I wanted to bring in 2 vehicles, and it was that point where it started to get a bit...
Because you couldn't fit 2 vehicles on your drive, and you asked if you could install these 2 concrete ramps, and at which point, this is when Christopher said to you, are you sure you've got right of access, and started to question this. So that obviously then starts ringing alarm bells.
Basically, there was bushes growing on one side, and then there was a raised curb. And then to get across to reverse 2 vehicles comfortably into the parking spots, I just asked for a concrete ramp. At that point, Mr. Hill, Chris Hill, and his father and another person I don't know who came out and basically said the right that I have to cross the land is restricted to an 8-foot strip. And if I wanted to bring in 2 vehicles, I had to reverse in and then inch forward and backwards to get that one over to my side and then bring the other one in.
Right, okay.
And that was the foundation of the dispute.
Well, you ended up calling them the gate trolls. Because they closed those gates, you felt like prisoners, and you say that they were placing obstructions so that you can get in or out.
So in order to go anywhere, you had to sort of spend 10 minutes just moving all the stuff out the way, drive out the gates, go back, put it all back where they'd left it, and then go.
Exactly.
So
there's a big difference between putting something that actually blocks you and putting something that you have to move out the way or have to drive and risk getting your car scratched or drive through
Damaging their
bushes or
property.
something. And this was the tactics, basically.
When did the police get involved?
The police originally got involved when I handed a letter to Susan Hill. I felt I'd handed one the previous week, but this time I handed one over in person, having a friend witness it, having a friend read it, having a friend watch me sign it, and then I went over and gave it to her, knocked on the door. I mean, it's only 15 yards, knocked on the door. She grabbed the letter. I turned around, I put my thumb up to the friend in the window that couldn't be seen, and then 2 hours later we had the police round. And the police said, basically, that I'd substantially upset her and that I was not allowed to talk with them anymore. I was to do it through solicitors. And all subsequent police visits, virtually all, have said the same thing. Do not talk with them.
You also,
at their request, sorry.
Accused of assault, weren't you?
Yes.
Well, that was
My place of work.
At work.
Yes.
And what happened there?
Well, I was working. I was actually stood with my manager at the time, and Mr. Hill came in, picked up a loaf of bread, which was directly behind me, went off, paid for it, went out. The next thing I hear is I've got a phone call from work saying that I'd been accused of assault and verbal abuse.
And thankfully, your manager saw that hadn't happened. There was CCTV footage. But there were 200 accusations. It's a massive waste of time, police time and money and resources. The police installed CCTV, and so you say that if you complained, it was days before the police came. If they complained, it was a matter of hours. Before they, so you,
sometimes instantly.
You think the police were biased?
Very.
Why?
Based on what you've just said.
Based on what you've just said, if I made a phone call to say this had happened, like take the co-op. They didn't tell me for 5 days. I had to go to the police to find out what was going on because he reported it not only to the co-op but also to the police. But they didn't come and see me or tell me.
What's this done to you? Because this is 4 years. This is your home. This is meant to be your sanctuary where you go and relax. This is must be the most peaceful part of your life.
Of course.
The things that you would take for granted, I presume, being able to go to your front door and not expect to knock on the door from the police or be able to get in and out. We're getting that back now a little bit since the judgment. And it's only now we're realising the effect has been devastating.
Yeah.
But because we're in the middle of it, we didn't see it. We would literally say, should we go out? For example, we'd say, well, let's go down to shops and get something. We say, no, we can leave that. Because we know that we have to film or we have to get prepared to go out. And so what we found is that over the time is that we weren't going out. We didn't realise until...
Well, it's been to court. Obviously, a civil court judge recently ruled in favour of you guys over rights of access, concluded that their neighbours, Christopher and Susan Hill, had deliberately placed the ornaments and pot plants and other items to cause maximum inconvenience. It's landed them with a large legal bill. Susie Hill's right of reply, she says, Grant Shortland and Melanie Heritage have always had a clear right of way over the driveway. They needed 13 feet and the access was never blocked. Plant pots were on the side of the patio. We had one gnome and it wasn't blocking the way. We put up gates for our daughter's safety and they were put in with the consent of Mr. Shortland. I don't believe they felt trapped in their home. Obviously, with something like this, it would be lovely if you could live together now, find a way to... It's been to court. Everyone is alerted to your situation. Do you think there is any... Because the police CCTV came down yesterday, didn't it? So,
Yes.
so is there any way that you can resolve this and be neighbourly?
I feel quite sorry for them in a certain way because they brought this on themselves. There have been steps along the way that we could have resolved this on many times and never has there been any comeback to try to.
So this was a conversation that you had on Twitter. Good morning, by the way. Lovely to see you.
Good morning. No, it wasn't a conversation. It was a tweet that I put out pointing out my belief, which I'll come on to in a second, about positive energy and pulsed electromagnetism. And all I did was ask of the person you're referring to a question. I've never said negative thinking causes cancer. So your promo is wrong, and I object to that. But I want to be really positive. We've only got 6 minutes, right? So, may I tell you my 2 beliefs? I believe doctors and scientists who say that disruption of our immune system by negative energy makes you prone to diseases of which cancer is one. That is a scientific medical fact, and I agree with those doctors. The other belief I have is that pulsed electromagnetism can help with tackling cancer. Tackling it, right? You've got to do other things, as I know.
But you didn't say that in your tweet.
Well, why would I? I was talking about this device that I use. I just said I was using it, and it was my belief, based on my personal experience, that it helps with fighting, if you want to use that word. I call it tackling cancer. On November the 29th, 2013, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had had no symptoms whatsoever. Luckily, because I'm a very positive person, I have regular medicals. My doctor said, your PSA has gone up. I had some tests, and it confirmed, ironically, on my father's birthday, he died in 1990 of prostate cancer, it confirmed I had prostate cancer. Anyone who gets that kind of diagnosis knows that is quite an emotional moment. You go one of 2 ways. You either decide you're going to focus on living your life, or you decide you're going to resign yourself to living your death. I went down the route of finding out as much information as I could. And this is what I'm talking about. Find out the information. So the man you referred to, I asked a question of him.
You said, is it possible your ill health is caused by your negative attitude?
A question.
And that's to a man who's got cancer.
Yes.
Just, if anything, it's insensitive.
Well, as somebody who also, until very recently, had cancer, I would ask that question. All I asked was a question.
What about if it was, that question, if it is a question, if it's not an insensitive question, would you ask that to a child that had cancer? If it's about having negative energy?
I think you're completely missing the point here. I asked him a question.
But it would work the same, wouldn't it? If it's an energy
after
thing,
he
a
had sent
negative or
a
a
particularly
positive
unpleasant tweet, I asked him a question. The point here is there is information available to all of us who inquire. When I found out I had prostate cancer, I started to get out there and ask as many questions as possible. I changed my diet slightly. I exercised in a different way. I got a very small group of friends, some of whom experienced cancer, one of whom has defied the NHS by living a lot longer than was predicted. And I was in a position that I was able to carry on doing TV shows and be healthy. I then had my tumour destroyed by sound waves, proving yet again that energy is at the heart of this issue.
The thing is that there are some fairly top people who've come out here and said, you know, hang on a second, let's just clear this up, because cancer research specialist David Grimes, Oxford University, says it's not just untrue, it's patronising and it's victim blaming. Cancer is bad luck. You can reduce or increase your chances by making different lifestyle choices, but the healthiest people in the world get cancer, and it's not because they are negative.
I thought, very, very healthy. I know why I got my cancer, because I'd gone through a very stressful, very negative period in my life.
So the stress in your life gave you prostate cancer?
Yes, because stress is negative energy. The definition of stress is a breakdown of your body engineering system. I'm absolutely certain that it didn't just decide to manifest itself. There was a cause. You have cancer in you. You have it. We all have it. Something triggers it. I don't believe by what you say or necessarily what you think it triggers it.
The problem is...
It's outside forces that trigger it. And the reason I started the way I did, there will be people watching now, and all I want to do is encourage them. Get the information, because there's a lot of misinformation.
But the problem is, Noel, the problem is that this is all surrounding a machine that costs £2,315.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Well, it is, because...
No, Phil, you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
The science of pulsed electromagnetism has been around for a couple of hundred years.
I get that. A simple box that slows down raging, reduces pain, lifts depression, stress, tackles cancer. Yep, tackles cancer. That's the box you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's it. 8 minutes and you feel ready for another exciting day. Yippee. And then you say what it is.
That's what it did for me.
I get that. But obviously people are going to get a little bit sceptical with the fact that you keep banging on about this £2,300 box, well, you know the people who were making it.
Well, yeah, of course I do know. Now I do know Sam and Steve, who are two brilliant practitioners.
You say now you do know. Didn't you know before?
What do you mean, before what?
You said now I do know.
Yeah, I do know them. They are both osteopaths. They're professionals. They introduced me to the technology. Maria Robertson, who's the director of the company, I've known for 30 years.
But they've said the opinions of Mr. Noel Edmonds are his alone and do not reflect in any way with the opinions of us at EMP PAD. We had no discussion, input or prior knowledge of the content of Mr. Edmonds' statement.
Yeah.
We do not agree with it in any way, shape or form.
Fine. All I'm saying is, by using pulsed electromagnetism and a series of other things, I am now free of prostate cancer.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
But to go for your 13th, say, you've said to us that you're addicted to having babies.
Yeah, I'm literally addicted to having babies.
Can you not put that energy into looking after the ones that you've got?
And that energy does go into that, but I can't help feeling broody. I can't help the way I feel. I can't help wanting another.
Presenter Noel Edmonds, who during his very long career has experienced online abuse, death threats even, and an intruder in his home. Noel's something that you're going through right now as well. I mean, we'll come back to things that have happened in the past, but you say as soon as you saw Alex's case in the newspapers, you tweeted her, didn't you, to lend support?
I did. I don't know her personally, but I admire her as a fellow professional, and it had a resonance where I thought, yeah, I want to publicly say I understand and I support her. I think it's very important also to understand this is not just about people in the public eye.
No.
There are a lot of people, there'll be a lot of people watching now who go, yes, I am receiving this form of abuse at work, etc., etc. And clearly, we've all got to decide whether we're going to do something about it. I mean, thank you for this invitation to come on, because I'm not here saying, oh, poor me. I'm here because I'd really like us to think about where the responsibility for a solution actually lies.
Explain a little bit, Noel, about what you're going through and what you've been through, because over the years it's been sort of a catalogue of different experiences.
Back in the 70s, it was sort of, well, it's the price of fame, you know, it's fans and whatever. In fact, I was here a couple of years ago, and there was a woman outside, and I remembered her from when she terrorised me back in the 70s. I mean, she damaged my car, she turned up at my home when she was a young girl and whatever, and she had a rather odd way about her. I've subsequently had a guy who set up a website to kill me, and I had the option of bringing the police into this, and I went down a slightly different route. It was well publicised a couple of years ago that I met him, and it was very interesting because he went to pieces completely.
He agreed to meet you?
Yes. Was it hard to get him to agree to meet you?
Well, he had a very simple decision. Either I went to the police, and the police advice was this was a criminal situation. He would have got a criminal record.
Yeah.
Or meet me, and I want to understand why you want to kill me. And, of course, the fact of the matter was he was a young man in his 20s. His sister did most of the talking. He broke down completely in this office in Bristol. And it was apparent that it had started as something light-hearted, but then it became quite malicious. And then, of course, he didn't realise what he had started. You know, what I want to...
Did you want him to know how upset you were?
Well, it was wonderful, because Liz, who was here, actually took control of the meeting. And right at the beginning, you'll like this bit as a woman, she looked him in the eye and said, why do you want to kill my husband? And he went to pieces completely, because there was no answer.
No.
He didn't want to kill me. Now, not everyone, and I wouldn't suggest that Alex should have gone down that route, but not everyone wants to confront these people.
Or can.
Or can. But that's an interesting point. When are we, as a society, going to strip away the anonymity that these people have? You know, we must encourage more accountability. We must encourage people to think before they press send on an email, post on a tweet. Why are they allowed to be anonymous? And I think there are three outcomes of it being more transparent. Everyone says go to the police, but we know the police are struggling with this. If you couldn't hide behind the anonymity, we are going to end up with one of three outcomes. We will find out if someone is mentally ill and then they need professional help. We will find out whether or not it is a police matter, and then the police can take over. Or we will find out that actually this is something where friends and family should say, why did you do that? Why did you send that? Terrible, terrible.
Make people realise what
we've got to. Society is made up of individuals. We've got to decide whether this is the way we want to live, ruining people's lives, or whether actually we are all going to do something.
What about what's happening right now? So you say there is somebody right now.
Oh, it kicked off again a few weeks ago.
Doing what?
She sends me emails of an intimate nature, and then it became quite serious when she was accusing me of having an affair with her, and she wanted to go to the media and the public and out our relationship.
And you say she, you're not. You sound as if you're not sure.
Well, my professional advisors say they believe it's probably male. It's really interesting, this area, and I know we haven't got time, but please look at the work of a neuroscientist, David Eagleman. There's a series on BBC4 at the moment, and he has researched how the brain works. We're familiar with brainwashing. You know, it's been used by politicians and regimes for years. But what he's discovered is that the brain almost cleans itself and produces a new picture.
So it doesn't necessarily acknowledge that they've said what they've said.
So you start off saying, I love this person, and you can actually make a transition to, I'm married to this person. Or, I don't like this person, I feel violence towards them, and it can transition to extreme violence. And in the experiments, even the people doing the experiments went through the process and created a totally false impression of the truth. And that's what happens with a lot of these people. I mean, you showed Alex Jones. You didn't show the picture of the man that was given the restraining order. Look at the picture of him. He needs help. He genuinely needs help.
Yeah.
Look, he has a haunted face. A lot of these people are in a mental health area where they need professional help.
After this enormous search, is of course telling your sons, having to tell your sons that I'm so sorry, but Dad is dead, he's drowned, he's disappeared.
That was an absolute nightmare. I didn't actually tell them personally. Other members of the family did that on my behalf. But still, you know, it was my doing, and that is something that I will live to regret for the rest of my time.
Must be a hell of an actress. That's a tough thing to pull off.
Well, the emotions were genuine emotions, but for the wrong reasons. You know, I was in bits.
And then, of course, there's there's the stuff of movies that he's now disappeared, and you have to wait for him to be, you know, sort of declared dead and collect the money. For 4 years, he lived next door there was an adjoining door between the two houses. How do you pull that off? How when someone comes to the door, how often was he in your place and across in his?
Well, if we didn't have family or friends visiting, then he was mainly in my house. Fortunately, we had a gravel driveway, so if cars approached, we could hear them come. I was constantly looking out of the window. If the doorbell rang, I always looked to see who was coming, who it was. And, you know, we made a judgment call as to whether he would have to disappear or stay, or if he could stay perhaps
and you didn't say,
did you upper floor.
Think at any point, saying to him, John, we can't do this anymore?
Often, many, many times.
And what did your sons say? Because they've lost their father, and then suddenly Mum's uprooting and moving to Panama, of all places. I mean, not a place that you'd probably brought up before, and suddenly you're moving. I mean, there must have been a lot of questions
I just know
there.
if my mum had said to me, after we lost my dad, right, I think I'm going to go to Panama. As a family, we would have said, what the hell?
A few years had intervened, and my youngest son in particular had travelled extensively. So to them, wherever you are in the world is just a plane ride away. It wasn't like I was deserting them. I think, given what they knew, they felt that I deserved an adventure, and they were quite pleased that I was going off to do something that I'd wanted to do.
So you go to Panama, find a house, and that's where the infamous photograph is taken. When that picture was taken, did you not think, oh my God, that's
yes.
dangerous?
Well, yes, I wish that had never been taken, but, you know, it was done in an instant. There was no forewarning that that was going to happen.
When you say you wish it had never been taken, does that mean that you wish you'd never been caught?
No, no. I knew that it would all come out eventually. And going to Panama, it wasn't to escape it. It was just another section of John's plan, John's scheme. He was convinced that he would get away with his story of amnesia. I never expected him to get away with that at all. But I was just relieved to think everything is coming to an end now and all the lies will end.
So when you come back, and obviously you're arrested quite quickly when you come back here, and the game is up, the two people that, you know, we all, when you're reading the book, and those two boys, your sons, Mark and Anthony, then have to be told that you have been living the most extraordinary, appalling lie.
Yes, and I'm dreadfully ashamed of that. I never should have done it, but I just didn't have the confidence to stand up against John and not take any part in it.
And you said that the thing that hurt you the most was in court, when
yes,
I think it was Mark that looked at you, and you said you couldn't believe the depth of hatred in his eyes.
That was the first time I had seen them since the previous October when I left for Panama. And as he left the witness box, our eyes met, and they were just so dark and angry. And that was a horrible thing to witness.
I bet. Well, John pleaded guilty and he got 6 years and 3 months. You pleaded not guilty but were found guilty and got 6 years and 6 months. So your sentence was longer than his. How did you feel about that?
I always expected to be found guilty. I just hoped that there was a way that I could prove that I hadn't gone along with it willingly. And that was why I didn't plead guilty in the first place. When it came to sentencing, I'd been given no indication at all that the sentence would be anything as severe as it was. So that came as a total shock. Yes, I deserved to be sentenced. I committed a crime and I deserved the punishment. But nothing to that extent. I just wasn't prepared for that at all.
And so what about your life? Where does that lead you? Rebuilding the blocks of life, I guess. I mean, you've got a relationship with your sons now.
I have,
which you're lucky to have.
I am extremely lucky to have that. And when I was in prison, I really felt that I'd lost them forever. And that led me into a deep depression. But fortunately, I came through that with help. And I've managed to turn my life around. I made the best opportunity that I could of all that was on offer in prison as far as education. And I equipped myself with up-to-date qualifications so that I could find a job and give myself the best chance to start a new life.
For more of the same, just click here.
At 71 stone, if you reach your goal, how would you get to the food without help?
There's plenty of men who would love to be in Sid's position, so I
have people message me every day of just about, you're so lucky, you're so lucky. I mean...
Adele and Matt, tell me about your upbringing and how you guys got to this stage. I mean, did you have conventional lives and you just woke up one day and you thought, not for us, or did you evolve gradually, or did you start off like this, or what?
I think both of us had fathers that died when we were young through heart attacks, high-stress lifestyle, and I think when something like that happens in your life, it propels you into really exploring whether the conventional way is right and healthy, and when we decided to have a family, we wanted it to be balanced. We wanted both of their parents to be around for a long time, and so that's really probably was the beginning of
Let's talk about, so we've done birthing, which you did all naturally, which, you know, a lot of women can go along with. But when it comes to medicine for your children, vaccinations,
yes.
You're totally against this.
Yeah, I actually believe childhood disease is quite important to experience to build the child's immunity. And Ulysses has experienced scarlet fever and chickenpox, and we treated that naturally. And it really was...
With what? How did you treat it?
We really believe in supporting the body to self-heal. just naturally that the child wants to fast and they just take on fluids. They reject food. And really, if you just support the body's healing through herbs and supplements and just gentle medicine that comes from food and the wild.
Are you totally confident in that? Was there any point, maybe if this temperature's gone up, that you're thinking, oh, maybe a trip to the doctor might be the best thing?
No, not really, because I don't believe that bringing a fever down artificially helps the body. I believe the fever's there for a purpose, to clean the body out, and I think as long as it's not a dry fever, then it's perfectly safe.
Do you know, you guys, Matt, may want to do all that you want to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean the rest of the world is accepting of it, and I'm sure it's a big battle to avoid conformity. I've no idea, guys, where you live, if you live in a conventional house, up a tree, in a tent, in a hole in the ground.
Love a tree, Eamon. Love a tree. Love it.
What is life? Where do you live and how do you live?
We live in a one-bed flat with a garden in Brighton by the sea. So we do have a lot of access to nature, but we are clearly still in a city. So we love the kids to be barefoot, but they're not barefoot all the time because of the nature of being in the city.
Adele, you're not alone there. Amazingly, we had a guest on this programme 4 weeks ago who was here to talk about something completely unrelated, and she had no shoes on and she didn't wear shoes ever.
Okay.
And I said we're going to have her back to talk about life without shoes. So it is amazing how things crop up.
It makes the feet stronger, actually. It's a lot of people worry about the feet getting injured, but it's the shoes that make them soft and
I noticed there, Ulysses, who's 5 now.
Yes, he is,
He was grabbing at your breast there.
Yes,
now, you still breastfeed him?
He is, yeah.
Which a lot of people do. There's a lot of controversy, isn't there, about the age when to stop breastfeeding?
There is.
How often would he breastfeed?
It really depends on the day. He does it really more at home, when he's feeling tired or needs comfort. Not so much when we're out, but if he is feeling a bit emotional, sometimes he asks to, and that's fine with me.
Yeah. And you would be fine if he was feeling anxious now and wanted to breastfeed. You'd be very happy to do that in public. Now, the other thing is, it's fine with us. They're jumping around on the sofa. If I know, in terms of parenting and rules, you say you don't really have any. So if you said to him, I mean, obviously, Star is much younger, but if you did say to him, sit down or shush, or do you believe in that?
Yeah, no, we do have rules. He would do as we ask. We speak to him respectfully, knowing that he's an equal human being to us. He is a highly sensitive child in nature, so he does struggle with getting overwhelmed easily. So it's even more important for him not to have strong, authoritarian discipline, because he doesn't react well to it.
What about education?
Education, we are taking the unschooling route at the moment.
Unschooling?
Yeah.
So not homeschooling?
No, unschooling, that's right. It's home education, but it's freestyle. You don't follow the national curriculum, you follow their lead.
So you follow your own, his lead?
Yeah, whatever he's interested in, we provide the opportunities for him to learn about it at that time.
So there will be people, particularly educationalists, who say, well, what about the basics, counting, reading?
I mean, lots of
Where would he be at compared to other children, possibly, that
he's got
in
basic recognition of letters and numbers. He can count up to, I think it's 20 now. But a lot of schools
technology with them? Do they do computers and things like that?
Yeah, he does the iPad at home. He watches all this stuff and he navigates around that. But a lot of schools in the rest of the world don't start their children till plus 6 or 7 anyway.
It's the way you lead your life, and we do have to point out, I mean, obviously there are conflicting advice, official advice about vaccination and whatever. It isn't in line with what you would say, or using sun cream and whatever. But it is your life. We're just reflecting your life and how you guys are living it, and it works for you, and you plan to take it much further. You plan to become more eco-friendly.
We do. Our ultimate aim is to get out to Costa Rica and live off the lead. It's not a definite destination, but somewhere similar.
And would you ever send the children to a conventional school?
If he asks to try later on, I've always said I'm open to that. Yeah, it's not about me dictating how, as he grows and he becomes more aware of the world, he can try meat, he can try conventional school. It's totally up to him.
Well, that's Adele and Matt Allen. That's their way of living life with their children. They all seem perfectly happy, very, very good. And we're getting your comments in on those. We'll reflect those as the programme goes on today. Guys, thanks for coming in and explaining all of that to us.
Hello, YouTube. For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
She's so boring that she's perfect. She's just, this is it all the time.
That's what she does. That's what she does. And you've got her name tattooed on your calf, haven't you? Oh, look!
I'm sorry?
You've got her name tattooed on you. One person who knows only too well what a devastating impact bullying can have is Made in Chelsea's Ollie Locke. He joins us now alongside bullying victim turned bully, Denny Lees, and anti-bullying campaigner, Sue Jones. And welcome all of you. Thank you for coming. Sue, it was your charity that published these findings. What were they?
Well, we started to look at it from last year. We started to look at why are people actually bullying and looking at the root causes of that behaviour. And that was the main focus behind it. We repeat at least half of the findings every year, but we started to look at what's going on for young people that are bullying.
And something you found was that it starts at home, an awful lot
In
of
a lot of cases, there's bullying at home or arguments at home and dynamics, stresses and traumas, family breakups, you know, death of relatives, and you know, these are real clear triggers. We'd heard this anecdotally before, but this is the first time we had hard facts and data to know what's going on for young people.
50% of young people questioned said they'd been bullied at some point. The tricky thing with bullying is that bullying for one person is banter for somebody else.
It's very subjective, I completely agree. But we have very clear data that says for the 44% that end up feeling depressed, the 31% that will actually consider suicide or they might go on to self-harm. These are really clear data and that needs to be taken very seriously.
And bullying takes many forms. And for you, Ollie, you originally, when you first started bullied, you were 7 years old at primary school, not from another child, from the teacher.
It was a teacher, and when you're that age, or any age, you trust the teacher as much as you can. And this was a really awful situation. I was sick every morning on the way to school, and mum nor teachers could work out what was wrong with me.
Never told anyone?
And it was this, I never told anyone. And I think that's the main thing that I'm here for, is to make sure that people go and tell people. Because 40% of people don't. And it's so bad, and I lived a horrendous life.
But you don't tell...
You had it through your primary school days, but then also at 19 and 20, you had it at uni. And you would think that university, you know, we are accepting, we're bright young minds, that they wouldn't be judgmental in any way.
Yeah, it went completely the opposite way. I trained to be an actor and then moved off to go and do property in an agricultural university. And they didn't like me very much. A lot of them didn't like me, some of them didn't take good to me, and then decided to do awful things, throw pints on my head over nightclub doors and stuff, and wee on my car. Yeah, throw bottles at me, pints over my head.
What effect did it have on you?
It was that awful feeling of just not being... You think you're an adult, and you think that's finally you're in this kind of grand scheme, big word world, and you're not. You're actually just a child again. And you don't want to tell people because it's awful, but it's happening all around. I was speaking to someone yesterday that was saying in their 60s they were being bullied. And this is happening everywhere. And it's my chance now to try and tell people to go and talk to people, because they just don't.
Well, Denny, your life started out where you were at primary school and you yourself were being bullied.
Yeah, from a young age.
And so what sort of things were happening to you then?
I've always suffered with my weight, so I've always been big. It started really, I probably was about 5 or 6, and I remember the first thing happened when there was 2 boys and a girl got me on the playground, started whacking bags around my face, I went home with a black eye.
And this is primary school?
Yeah.
So you were incredibly young here, and the tables turned dramatically when you got to 13 and you fought back.
Yeah, one of the bullies from my primary school, when she come to secondary school, she was a year above me, and she followed me home from school and attacked me. So I fought back, and I ended up getting the better of her then.
And you were 13 at the time, and you got a caution?
Yeah, well, I got GBH on my criminal record now.
Right.
Wow.
We'll come to that in a moment, because
that's
and I think a lot of people who might be, you know, forced to either retaliate or be the bully, it's incredible the impact that can have on your future life. The power went to your head.
Yeah, because then it got to the fact, like, everyone kind of knew that I used to get bullied, and then when I fought back then and got the better of her, then it was like, oh my God, do you know what I mean? So
don't mess with her.
Yeah, and then I was like, and then I did enjoy it. Then I'm not, you know, I probably shouldn't have, but I did, because it did go in my
Well, then
favour
others
then.
looked to you for protection and support.
I used to get a lot of the people that was getting bullied come to my house in the morning and ask to walk to school with me. If they was getting bullied by people, they'd say, can you go and have a word? So I'm not, I don't get bullied by them
And who did you bully?
It's not that I wouldn't, like, go out of my way to bully people in a sense, but I'd just try and, you know, have a laugh. And to me, I'd think it was funny, but obviously now I know it wasn't
And
funny.
even though you knew the impact of what it was like as a 7-year-old, having it reversed onto you, you still did it yourself.
Yeah.
But this goes back to your original point, which is there is a lot of similarities between the bully and the bullied.
Absolutely.
And in fact here, same person.
Yeah. Well, people are twice as likely to bully others if they've experienced bullying themselves. They're kind of coping strategies. And there are huge similarities between, even in terms of physical health. So young people who have been bullied are around 29% to say they constantly suffer from ill health. 27% of those who are doing the bullying will also say the same thing. There's massive similarities between the two.
And for you, Ollie, the point that you made is that if it's happening, then talk to somebody.
I think it's the most important thing. It's what people don't do is they don't talk about it. And I think they're nervous, they're shy, they don't want to seem this whole sissy word, all that kind of stuff. It's rubbish. And people need to talk about it to get this all sorted out because it's become so ridiculous and it's affected everyone.
And much easier now to bully someone because you've got access to them via their phones or their tablets.
That was something that I also got involved in because of seeing people on Made in Chelsea get bullied by social media and by people sitting behind their screens, and the girls get an awful time, a lot of the time.
Well, thank you all very much indeed.
Very much
Thanks.
for coming in.
To see you.
As Team GB return home from Paris triumphantly with an incredible 65 medals, we are joined by some of the amazing athletes who made it happen.
Yes, despite giving up on her dream of becoming an elite runner 7 years ago, Georgia Bell turned it all around, winning bronze in the 1500-metre final.
And after starting climbing at the age of 7, Toby Roberts made history at just 19 years old when he secured Great Britain's first ever gold medal in the sport.
And Izzy Thorpe and Kate Shortman also broke records when they won Team GB's first ever medal in artistic swimming after clinching a silver.
And we are so thrilled to say they have just arrived home. They are all joining us now. Guys, a massive round of applause.
Yeah,
Come on.
well done, you
Guys, well done. I mean, George, we've got to come to you. Congratulations, first and foremost. But you gave up running at one point.
I know. I quit. I never thought I'd be good enough. Just went into the working world, and then just through COVID, really got back into exercise when that's all you can do. And yeah, kind of escalated now.
Georgia, how long hadn't you run for?
I hadn't stepped on a track for about 5 years.
5 years, and you've gone on to win a bronze. Can you actually believe it?
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's still very surreal. When I quit, I knew I kind of hadn't fulfilled my potential, so it was quite sad, and I kind of never thought I would go back to it, but then just so happy over the past few years, seeing the fitness come back, getting in contact with my old coach, and just getting better and better. And yeah, I was just so happy to be there and bring home the medal.
But your story is so surreal because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, up until May, I think you were working in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
It's now August, you've got a bronze around your neck.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I know. So I'm working full-time until recently. Work gave me a work-supported leave over the summer. I went to my boss and said, please, can I try and make the Olympics? And
Do you mind if I just pop to the Olympics for a couple of days?
Pretty much. And they've all been really supportive and doing watch parties in the office. So
Something incredible.
Yeah.
It's a lot of juggling, isn't it? But you had a really good partner to support you as well, didn't you? And a really good family.
Yeah, absolutely. Family and my boyfriend have been so supportive. You know, they always thought I could do it, even though it was a little bit of an unconventional route. So yeah, very lucky to have them.
Well, we're very lucky to have you here today. We know how tired you all are. You've literally just got back.
Yeah.
Toby, a massive congratulations to you. The first ever gold in climbing. This is incredible. And you're 19.
I am.
19 years old, and you were sat there with a gold medal wrapped around your neck. What on earth is going through your mind right now?
I mean, the last few days have just been absolutely crazy. Training for so many years with the dream of going to the Olympics, and then going there with getting rid of the expectations, and then leaving with a gold medal is just it's like a dream come true, and it has not really sunk in yet.
Oh, I mean, Tobes, you have been nicknamed the UK Spider-Man. They also call you Toby the Terminator, and you have been like this from a very young age. And your dad spotted your amazing talents, didn't he, when you were very young?
Yeah, I mean, I've always just sort of had a passion for climbing things, whether it's like climbing trees, or my parents said I used to like climb out of my cot when I was younger. I've just always had a passion for climbing. When I found the sport when I was 7, it almost felt like a bit of a gift. I was just so happy to have found something which I was so passionate about, and yeah, just step by step, like I just kept going and I just kept enjoying it. And yeah, to be sat here now having almost fulfilled my dream is just...
Well, not almost, you have.
Yeah.
You've got the gold
Yeah,
toes, you've done it. And it was you were 12 when you were like, I'm going to the Olympics.
Yeah, so when I got introduced into Tokyo for the first time, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to stand on that stage. I want to go to the Paris Olympics. And then, now to be sat here, it's a dream come
Well, it's
true.
incredible. It's lovely to have you. It really, really is.
And,
Like,
you-
what an inspiration.
You're all Olympians, and what you didn't realise is, you need that support from the special people in your life to be able to do what you do. And your dad has been a real support network for you, hasn't he, Tobes?
Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't have been possible without all the support I've received from my parents. It's one thing to go and do it, but it's about the people it's like a team effort. It's about like the whole team around you who gets you to the games, who like keeps you level-headed. And
Was he into climbing himself, your dad, or?
no. So when I found it in like the after-school club, he sort of...
Well, this is just literally from an after-school club?
Yeah, it's like an after-school club. And then...
I mean, I think I was over the park, like with my mates on the swings, and you've got a gold medal wrapped around your neck.
Cider, I was.
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey. We've sort of learned about the sport together, and that's what's been really nice. And I've always got him there in the competitions. I trust him 100%, and it's just a really nice relationship.
Well, honestly, your story's incredible, and I know you're sat next to Kate and Izzy as well. Girls, your story is incredible, because I could be sitting here speaking to both of your mums. Because your mums used to do exactly the same thing as you two. They were together, now you two are together, and you've got silver medals wrapped around your neck. This story is just, it's mind-blowing. Surely they're going to make a Hallmark film out of this.
It does feel like a film, your story, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we've done them proud, and they were swimming together when they were younger, and we've kind of carried on, I guess, that legacy in a way. So they just missed out on the Olympics, unfortunately, but I think we've kind of like made them proud in our way. Yeah.
So how old were your mums? Because your mums are best friends. So how old were your mums when they became best friends?
So they've kind of known each other, I guess, same as us, like forever. They all used to do artistic swimming, and like all our families know each other because they did swimming and water polo, so everyone was at the pool together. And yeah, they did a duet together, they did a team together, obviously just missed out on the Olympics, and then they introduced us to the sport and they coached us right from our very first like taster session, and now I guess it's such a full circle moment, like they've seen us compete and win a medal at the Olympics. Like,
But how is that? Because I could not think of anything worse than my mum coaching me to try and win an Olympic medal. Could you imagine Linda?
That would be
I mean, I'd probably knock the cauldron over. The torch would go out, it would be terrible.
yeah, there were times like that.
Well,
yeah.
but this is what I'm saying, because obviously they know what they're talking about. They're incredible at the sport themselves. That's obviously how you two have got into it.
Yeah.
But was there times it was like, Mum, leave it out?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, we were training with them since we were about 10 years old. So we've gone through that whole journey of life with them. I mean, it's amazing now to look back and think, oh, they've been there throughout the whole journey. But there were definitely a few arguments at the pool during those teenage years. But yeah, it's been so worth it now. And we're really happy that we got through it.
And for them, obviously, they didn't make the Olympics themselves. What was it like for both of your parents to see you both standing side by side on that podium?
Oh, I think it would have just been such a special moment. Like, I haven't really got to speak to my family properly and see them, so I haven't really even been able to speak to my mum and have that conversation yet. But when I get home, I know that it's going to be so emotional, and
yeah, it's going to be a lot of tears, I think.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I can't ready for that.
What does it feel like, to wear those medals? What does it feel like?
Well, we just spoke to this before. I just said, you've got, not only have you got the medal, you've got a bit of the Eiffel Tower in them as well.
Yeah, they're such nice medals as well. They're definitely
gorgeous.
quite heavy, but yeah, it's just, I don't have any words for it really yet. It's not even sunk in. It's been, I think, 3 days, and it's just been a whirlwind. So I've not really come down and really realised what's happened yet. So.
Well, you guys haven't even been home yet, have you?
No.
Straight off the train from Paris, you're straight in London. Where are you going to keep the medals?
That's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Because we'll look after them for you if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say, I might just put mine around my neck forever.
End up with a bit of neck ache.
Yeah.
I would be like that on a night out. Look at me. I'll have apple order line, please.
That was me. That was me. Guys, a massive congratulations, not only just to yourselves, but you did it for Team GB as well. So a massive well done. Can we have a round of applause for our Olympians, please?
Fantastic.
Congratulations. Go home and just have a little lie down now and enjoy yourself for a little bit. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Get home safe, you
so
lovely
proud
lot.
of you guys, so proud.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Chris, good morning and congratulations.
Good morning.
Hello. Have you had any sleep yet, Chris?
I went to my bed and I proceeded to look at the ceiling for 5 hours, and then I got 2 hours sleep. So, yeah, kind of successful.
And it's 3-metre synchronised diving. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it was crazy yesterday. Like, the atmosphere, the crowd was so intense. And then going into the last round, we were in first place. So to hold that up under that kind of pressure well, I'm really proud of myself, to be fair.
I'm sure you are.
It's really hard to mess it up.
Just before that dive, I always think, I've been on a high diving board once. I didn't actually dive. I just looked at the pool and went down again because it was so horrible and scary. What goes through your mind when you're waiting to do a dive? The two of you standing there, what do you talk about before? What's in your head? How do you focus?
We both have our individual routines, so we're both listening to music and like just warming up and stuff. And then we go to our coaches and they give us like a few comments about the dive or whatever we're about to do. And then we basically just go up there and do it. I literally just think about one word. That's how I always have done it at competition, is literally just one word, because I'm quite a basic guy and I feel like I'll get confused otherwise. So yeah, I just think about that one word and yeah, it seemed to work yesterday.
Yeah, I'd love to know what that word is.
What's the word? Can you say it on daytime television?
Yeah, no, it's different on every single dive. It's just a key word on each dive. Things like arms, or which it doesn't seem like much, but it's about the position of my arms. So it's just literally one word on each dive.
It is unbelievable how much movement you get into such a short distance. I noticed that, Chris, the two of you are diving into that green pool, which a lot of people have been talking about. What do you make of that?
Oh, what, the swamp pool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, it's something that I've never seen before. It's not dangerous, we've been assured by everyone. It didn't taste any different, obviously, because accidentally you do kind of drink some of the water. Tasted fine. Also, it kind of helps in a way, because when you're spinning around, sometimes seeing a blue sky and a blue pool is quite difficult, but green pool is pretty easy. So yeah, it kind of helps in a way.
It's helped.
But Chris, it was great seeing you. And when we hear about your backstory about this ruptured spleen, I'm thinking, did he rupture his spleen by hitting the water in a bad way, or what happened to you?
Well, the doctors don't really know how it happened. It is possible that it was during a dive, as I was doing 10 metre. Which is the high board, so there's a little bit more impact in that sport. So yeah, it's possible it was that, but yeah, basically ruptured my spleen and had 5% chance of surviving the operation, and then went into a coma afterwards. So yeah, it wasn't the best period of time in my life. Yeah, it was incredible. Like, it's just a moment in time that will never be forgotten, especially there with my best mate Jack. We're really close, and it was just an incredible feeling to win that medal.
Well, it was amazing. I mean, you literally jumped into his arms at one point. And you two live together, don't you? So you can train. Thank you, darling. So you can train all the time. So you're flatmates as well.
Yeah, we do. We live together. We've got a mortgage together, actually. So yeah, we're pretty close. I think that really gives us a competitive advantage, as we're just so close and so in sync with everything. Yeah, so it really worked out yesterday for us.
Chris, I was saying today on the news that when you win a medal, Team GB have a lounge area, a party area, where you go to afterwards. Is that right?
I have heard of this place, and I am going to give it a little visit and see what it's saying. Cannot confirm yet, though, but I will confirm at a later date.
You do that. Good man.
Enjoy
Every minute of it, and say hello to Jack as well. Jack Law, thank you very much indeed. Congratulations. Gold stars for both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
Girls, you do look lovely, but I'm sorry, can we cut this? Cut this, please. Sorry, no, look,
I'm having a really nice time. It's your second time doing this.
Right.
And I just want a low-key affair. Girls, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go.
Don't look so sad. You've done an amazing job.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll get
you.
paid. Go on, off you go. Go on, you can go. Go on. Thank you, darling. Take your wings. Take your wings.
Take them with you.
Leave the parrot. OK. Thank you, girls. Yeah.
The pineapple's
Let's start
still
again.
intact.
Yeah, let's start again. Good morning.
Bobby, this didn't hurt at all. No? And the idea is, have you had this before?
Yeah, I've had it 4 times. I had them done yesterday and today.
And could I ask you, Bobby, how long do these last? How long will they stay on you?
5 or 4 days.
Yeah. When I was your age, I used to go down to the newsagents and get tattoos, and we used to put them on, used to put water on them, and I know you're looking at me and thinking, what is he talking about? But they were so tiny. Look what you've got. Incredible, incredible.
And Tiana, tell us what's on your arm. Hold your arm out and tell us what you've chosen.
There's flowers and leaves, and there's clouds and there's fairies and
flowers and
unicorns and stars and a tiger and.
Okay, and why they're very pretty? Why did you want a tattoo?
It's because Mum. I wanted a tattoo because my mum's looks really pretty and I want a real one but with not a needle.
No, not a needle. You don't want a needle.
That's the thing. Now, we want to look at Mummy's tattoos now, right? Mummy is going to model here. That there is a difference with your tattoos, Mummy, yes?
Yeah, mine definitely don't come off.
They definitely don't come off. Have you ever wished that they could come off? Have you ever had second thoughts and thought...
Never.
No?
No.
How old were you when you had your first tattoo?
I was 20, I think, when I got my first one, so I was quite old, really. And then they kind of grew from there.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure, you know, there will be people watching going, oh, I don't like this. You know, although these aren't real, they look very real compared to the ones Eamon's talking about that we all had as kids, which we stuck on with water.
Yeah.
And I think the worry is that people will think, well, you're almost encouraging them to have a tattoo way before they would be allowed to have one, which I think is 16 now, isn't it? What do you say to that?
I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, she can't get one before she's old enough to have one, so she's not going to get one. It doesn't bother us, like, she just wants to be like me, and I just think there's no harm in it. It washes off, it's not permanent, it's not harming her.
But it doesn't just wash off overnight, does it? Because they're kind of, would you say semi-permanent, so they last 4 or 5 days?
They can, you can get the ones that wash straight off, they do them, but if you use baby oil on them, it can wash them straight off as well, so you either leave it to fade or wash it off.
Vicky, I can't see... Have you got tattoos?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
You do?
I've got a few of them, but
relatively small scale?
I have a big portrait on my leg of Bobby and things like that, so just in places that you can't really see every day.
And so, therefore, would you accept that that is something that influences Bobby as to what he wants? And are you sort of imposing your love of tattoos on him?
Not really, because he's never really mentioned anything about mine. I mean, he asks what they are and did they hurt and things, but it's really just a bit of fun for him. It's something new, it's a new experience for him to enjoy, and he likes showing his friends and like joining in with me. So when I'm doing things with Vicky, I mean, if you check our Instagram page, and not just a pretty face page.
This is Vicky who actually does these.
Yeah, and we're going to see these. If you're wondering how this is done, this is how they're done on the children. A professional tattooist puts these on. And
so
remember,
it's a stencil.
Yes, this is not being injected into their skins or anything. The question we're just asking: is this all fine, or is this setting, you know, the wrong example? And I think tattoos are certainly far more socially acceptable these days, aren't they?
It's such everyday life now as well. Like, everybody really has tattoos in this day and age, and I just think with Bobby, it totally changed his perspective on having a real tattoo, because he enjoys being able to wash it off and choose a new stencil and choose a new design, which has made him like kind of think about not getting a real tattoo.
What about school, Tiana? What about your friends at school? Have you ever been to school with this, or do you always have to wash it off?
I've been to school with one on before, and my friends really liked it, and they said, "Where did you get it from?"
So I'm surprised she was allowed to be at school with that on.
Yeah, but she wasn't really allowed to be in, but I let her go in for one day, but the teachers were really nice about it. Like, one of their teachers was taking her cardigan off and, like, showing her arm around the class, and they were good with it, and then obviously I took it off the next day, but, I mean, like they say, they knew it was a bit of fun, and the kids thought it was great.
What about reaction from other parents at school, friends? I mean, we were talking about birthday parties and things. You were saying that, you know, look, kids go and have their face paintings done at birthday parties.
At the school when I've went to collect Bobby before, when he first went into school, his school's been really supportive with it. And when I came out, all the mums were like, such and such has asked, where did you get the tattoos done? Does she hire for parties? Can you book her for adults and things? It's not just for children. And everyone who I've met have been like amazed by how good the design is, how realistic it looks.
Yeah. It's the always positive feedback I've had from them.
You say that until you go to social media.
Well,
and you'll get fours and against. You know,
yeah,
we
you will.
talked about
Everyone's
this,
always going to have an
this
opinion,
before.
aren't they?
Anything there, Ruth?
I can't find anything at the moment. I think mine seems to. Oh no, hang on.
There. I don't see the difference between this and face paint. Not doing anyone any harm. Please let them have fun, says Mia.
And
there with that.
How much fun do you have when you're having it done, Bobby? When you're choosing your designs?
I think it feels warm, and I really like the colours, how they are done, and they look realistic.
So, are you going to have another one, do you think?
Yeah.
Terry, let's start with you. As a mum, when did it become apparent?
When she was about 3.5. She'd always wanted to dress in girls' clothes and be referred to as a she and her ever since she was tiny, like baby. But yeah, at about 3.5, she started asking questions as to why she was referred to.
And assume, as a mum, as a family, you think that maybe this is a phase?
I don't think I ever actually thought it was a phase.
Really? From that moment on?
Well, it got quite serious quite early, because at the age of 3, Ashton was talking about how to take his bits off.
Yeah.
So at that point, as a parent, you must sit there and go, actually, this is more than just wanting to wear different
dresses. Yeah.
But was it something that you thought, hang on a second, there may be something other than, you know, that he obviously very young, that there may be something more to this?
Yeah, something more than just dressing up, or initially thought that Ash was a gay male.
You changed schools?
We did. We moved 100 miles, yeah.
And that didn't help matters?
Not really. No, we should have stayed where we was and faced it head on, really.
Well, the trouble is there was a lot of bullying going on, and then you moved to another school, and then in that school where nobody knows, you have a huge secret to keep.
Yeah, it was a bit much for her to keep the secret. She wanted to tell everybody, but was worried that nobody would like her after they found out.
So it became better to actually go back where everybody knew who she was.
Yep.
And that was easier. And what was great, though, about the school was that it was them that referred you to the Tavistock clinic.
Yeah.
So great understanding from the school themselves.
Excellent. They've been great.
And did that make a big difference then? I guess the support that you got from them for all of you, not just for Ashley, must have been huge.
Yeah, it was.
So Rachel, for you, very similar situation here. Matt was born Matilda, and again, at the age of 2, very much identified as being male.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, from a very young age, as soon as they can start making decisions and become their own little people in terms of what they like to wear, what they don't like to wear. Matt was always adamant that he didn't want to wear dresses. We actually went down the medical route first, so we were referred to genetics, and they did some tests to actually see whether or not Matt was intersex, because he was displaying such strong sort of, you know, masculine tendencies that we needed to eliminate the possibility that could be. It is very rare, but we went down that route first, and it was only after that CAMS referred us then to the Tavistock Centre.
It requires, as a parent, it requires a very open mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, very open, and, you know, at the end of the day, Matt is a child, and I have to remember that Matt's a child, and to make those very big decisions with Matt about his future was very difficult for me, because, you know, at some point you have to intervene, and then obviously nature becomes nurture in a way, because you make a decision that's going to change their possible path.
You medically intervene.
you do. I don't think Matt's ever had a choice, and even now when I say, you know that you were born a girl, it's no, I was born a boy.
Yeah. So again, like Phil just said, having an open mind as a parent, but also helping to open the minds of others. And I guess that's what's brilliant about this documentary, is because it's just putting it out there and telling a very honest story from 2 children and other children involved in the programme. Also, is that why you were part of it?
Yeah, definitely.
And do you think that it was a brave step? I mean, obviously you want to talk about it openly, but then to put your own child forward to be the one to do that, especially as she's struggled with bullying at school before. I mean, it's even more brave, I think, for her.
I'm so proud of her for doing it. So proud of her. She's amazing, really.
And welcome 2 very brave people here. and actually, you just, as you've said yourself, you want to help others.
Yeah, I want to help others express how they feel in life.
Yeah. And do you think it will make a difference?
Yeah, I think it will help people understand what transgender is all about and have fun, because you only live once and you're only young once.
Yeah. And so you don't look back. You just look forward to a new you.
Yeah, to future.
I think you're amazing. I think you both are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, a lot of people will say, 3.5's too young. You can't possibly know at that age.
Well, I guess it's a process, and it's accepting how young people feel at each stage of their lives. And I think one of the things in this area is, the outcomes are not always certain, and young people are developing over time. And I suppose one of the things is that we work together with families over time, supporting young people to have as much opportunity really to explore their feelings, to understand the implications of the decisions they might choose to make around physical intervention.
But there will always be those children who will hold their hands up and say, hang on a second, actually this is a mistake, I've made a mistake here, and I want to go back. So you've got to be very careful at the steps you take to make sure there is always a route back.
That's absolutely true. And I guess until, around the age of 16, where it's possible for young people to elect to take cross-sex hormones, there is always the possibility of going back. And I think, you've made a really important point, because I think the challenge for all of us is how we fully accept, support young people, but at the same time leave room for them to develop their own ideas about where they want to go. And some of them indeed may choose to change.
Thanks for watching. Click here for more This Morning videos.
When did you first notice that Bessie was behaving differently around Philippa?
I noticed about 3 or 4 days that her behaviour had changed from just being a normal dog about the house to almost a panic. The look on her face, her expression had changed, and it was a look of concern, and you could almost, looking back on it, you could see that she was trying to tell something was wrong, but you don't think.
So at
like
the
that,
time, what did you think? Like, what's the matter? Does she want to go out? Does she, does she need to...
She thought there was more likely something wrong with the dog than there actually was with Philippa.
Yeah. I just thought she might be going into season, or she was just getting, the airs of spring, and I didn't know.
And was she fussing around Philippa, or do you think she was trying to tell you something?
Initially, she was more fussing around everywhere we went. She was tripping us over wherever Philippa was. Right. So she was fussing more around Philippa. And then it wasn't until the Monday when she'd got really poorly that I noticed how scared she looked. You could see the whites of her eyes, and that was when I realised.
She's trying to tell you something, she wants her to...
Let's bring the doctor in at this stage to sort of diagnose what we're seeing here. I mean, this is all amazing for us to hear about, but for you, what's your take on what we're hearing?
Well, you're right, it sounds almost too good to believe, doesn't it? But what we know now, after many years of these anecdotes and having investigated it with the charity, is that dogs with their incredible sense of smell, I mean, you and I can smell probably a teaspoon of sugar in a cup of tea. This little dog could smell a teaspoon of sugar in 2 Olympic swimming pools, just to give you some perspective on it. And what we now know is that cancer smells different, cancer cells divide differently, and they smell different. And dogs can detect this change. What we don't quite understand is why a dog that lives in a family might know that this is something to warn the family about, and that's really, really interesting. But what's happened here is this dog with an incredibly strong bond with his family has actually warned them about this threat, this change in odour that meant something awful was about to happen.
And was it based on Bessie's behaviour that you thought, do you know what, something is not right here? Did you take her to the vet or did you take Philippa to the doctor?
Initially I knew she had a bit of a fever, Philippa, so I'd taken a temperature, but because the dog was behaving so weird, after I'd give Pippa some paracetamol, I would have expected the temperature to go back down, but because of her, I went and took her temperature again, noticed it was going up. It wasn't extreme, but I noticed it was going up, not down. So that was when I phoned the emergency doctors, and I told them that the dog was behaving peculiar. And the doctor phoned me back and said, bring her up.
Really?
And he'd had experience of this before, so he recognised straight away that there was something wrong.
So what did they diagnose then in Philippa?
She's got...
It's acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And yeah, we got that diagnosis pretty much within 24 hours of taking some blood samples.
Yeah. Which is a massive shock.
Terrible shock.
Oh, it was, yes.
Terrible
shock. But
she's having treatment, still having treatment at the moment.
She is, yes.
So chemotherapy.
From start to end, it lasts 2 years for a girl, 3 years for a boy.
now that she is having treatment, has Bessie changed in that behaviour? Now that it has been detected?
Yeah, she has. She's not... I think when there's certain chemotherapies that they're doing, because you go through a different regime, she does behave differently towards her on the different ones, but she hasn't got that panic.
Yeah.
Ever since she went into remission, when the leukemia cells are actually beaten back, she's calmed down a lot, but she's still...
very protective.
It's an amazing story. Dr. Clare's heard them before. What would you say, Dr. Clare, to anybody who is noticing within their family environment their dog behaving in the way that we've heard that Bessie behaved?
Well, as you say, dogs behave differently for a lot of reasons. They may be unwell themselves or something might frighten them. But if a family notice a real persistent difference or change in behaviour with this sort of, becoming very, very attentive, then it could be worth checking it out. I mean, I had my own life saved as well. I had Daisy, my own dog, who saved my life from breast cancer. And I've actually just written a book called Daisy's Gift, and that's all about this story and how we've developed it from now. And, obviously everything your dog does doesn't mean you're unwell. But I think, as you said, your doctor recognised, had heard a story about this. Doctors are now starting to take this seriously. So if there's a big change in your dog, it may be worth finding out why.
Well, I know Philippa's been a very brave girl. She's 3 tomorrow, isn't she? It's her birthday tomorrow, so we've got her a gift. It's a very large gift of a beautiful doll's house, actually. But then we've got the dolls to give her now. Whoops. It's so big.
Bessie wants them.
Yeah. Oh. There she is. This is a doll.
For you.
Oh, you're fed up with us. Yeah, you're fed up with us now. I know.
Everything's yak. It's not really yak. It's just
no. Well, you can maybe play with those tomorrow when you're feeling a bit better, my darling. And
we wish you well. We wish you well, and I hope everything's okay, guys. And big hugs. Bye bye, Philippa.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
See ya. Bye bye. Bye bye. See ya. Bye bye.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel. At what point did you think, no, this has gone beyond now?
Just when every single day he woke up and he had more and more and more arriving, like on his face, he would just have like them on top of each other. So I obviously then thought that night, this is not, his temperature was up to 41 degrees.
Look at him. He's dropped his teddy. Can someone pick his...
Sorry.
For us? No, it's all right.
Now it's a heartbreaking story, but last month 59-year-old Yvonne Ford tragically died from rabies after a puppy scratched her while on holiday in Morocco.
Yvonne showed no symptoms for 4 months, but when signs appeared, it was too late. Within weeks, she sadly passed away.
Today, in the hope of raising awareness, we're joined by Yvonne's family, her husband Ron, and children Robin and Adam, alongside Dr. Nagat. Thanks for joining us. So sorry to be meeting you under these circumstances. You're here to raise awareness, and that's exactly what we want to do today. Could you take us back to, you were in Morocco and you were on holiday. Tell us a little bit about that trip and what happened.
Well, basically, it's we go away quite a lot. We went to Morocco for a winter break, had a great time. 2 days before we came home, we were on the beach outside the hotel, and there was lots of dogs running about everywhere, and there was a puppy actually underneath the sunbed of Yvonne's. She put her leg down, it startled the dog, and it just scratched her. It didn't bleed, it didn't really mark her. So I asked her, shall we go see somebody? And she basically says, well, it's not bled, so you're unaware, you don't know. It's so that was the second to last day of the holiday. No illness, no nothing. Fantastic. Went home. A month later, still nothing, no symptoms whatsoever.
And you've been on a few other trips. You went to Florida.
Yeah, in May we went to Florida. In fact, on the 21st of Florida, she was dancing round a pole in Epcot with my granddaughter.
Sorry, Ron.
It's all right.
Take a minute, Ron. So when, and this is to anyone that can answer, when did the symptoms first arise?
So we come back from Florida on the 23rd of May. The following week, my dad and my mum went to York on a little fishing trip in the camper van.
Yeah.
And on the Saturday, my mum started with a horrendous headache, unbearable headache, to the point where she couldn't sleep at all. The Monday after that, my dad had taken her to A&E because the headache was so severe. On the Monday, she went into hospital walking, talking, doing everything. And come the Friday, she couldn't walk, talk, swallow. She had a fear of water. She was horrendously hallucinating beyond what we could even imagine. She just deteriorated within 5 days.
And Robin, I know these. Thank you, Adam and Robin Rodgers. I know these questions are so hard to answer, but I know you wanted to be here to raise awareness. I think the thing, when we were talking about it earlier on, that shocked us was in your head, you think, to start with, you think, oh, you have to get bitten. And then, so firstly, it's so innocuous what happened to her. And then the time lag between her getting scratched and the symptoms feels so long.
Well, apparently it can last up to 2 years in your body.
Right.
Before it starts showing any symptoms.
And everyone pets an
course,
animal on holiday. Can we just bring in Dr. Niggett? I mean, that's the thing that, like I said, that shocked us. So what are the stats? What normally happens between someone being bitten or saliva or blood, getting the blood in the system or whatever, and then getting symptoms?
The interesting thing is that incubates for a very long time, as Ron said, up to 2 years. On average, we know it's between 3 to 12 weeks it can incubate, but it can be months, even years longer than that. It's a zoonotic virus, and it causes inflammation of the spinal cord and the brain. And that inflammation can be really innocuous. With this case, with Yvonne, she didn't even get a scratch. I mean, I was talking to Robin earlier. She said there was nothing on the skin, but the bugs get into the skin, and that's why it's so important to make sure that you get help and seek help as soon as you possibly can. But if you're not thinking about it, as you said earlier, and you're not making the connections between the dots, this is why raising this awareness is vitally important.
And is there such thing as protection? Because, like you say, it's not something that you would expect. When it arrives, there's quite literally nothing you can then do. How do you protect yourself before perhaps going on that holiday?
So immediately before you go on holiday, there is actually a rabies vaccine that we can give. It's available privately for travel. So we know that there are 59,000 cases of rabies or deaths across the world in 150 countries. So places like Morocco, Asia, Africa, North Africa. The world has become such a small place now that we don't think about it because we've managed to eradicate it in Europe. But people are travelling all over the world. If you have a scratch, the most immediate thing is to wash it with soap and water, clean the wound as as you possibly can. And it's not always just a scratch that we get from kittens or dogs or bats, etc. It could even be licking of the nose and the mucosal tissue, so your tongue, your lips, your nose, your eyes. So wash all of that out. And then there is post-exposure treatment that you can be given as well. The most important thing is thinking about it and then getting the treatment, ideally washing and cleaning, but within minutes or hours or as soon as possible. But if you know that you're going to be in a place where immediate treatment might not be available, so India, Pakistan, North Africa, wherever you might be going, then it's really important to make sure that you think about getting that rabies vaccine.
Yeah, the vaccine to start with I mean, it's not even that, I've had it, it's not even that much, is it? And it lasts for quite a while, does it?
It lasts for a very long time, and there are 2 boosters as well. So you get one and you get a booster, and then afterwards you can, many years later, get a booster as well. But I think the most important thing when I was talking to Robin, Ron and Adam was the fact that we don't think about it in Europe. We could be going out and our children will pet animals. Yeah. My 7-year-old, if we go on holiday, in fact, I was just saying to them earlier, I went to Morocco as well. And my 7-year-old will be very much out there as children. And children don't tell their their parents that they might have had a scratch or a bite.
Of course, when they're playing.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, it incubates so well. And then the symptoms of this headache that comes, these flu-like symptoms, hallucination, and then almost this spasming of the throat that can happen because you fear a swallowing. You find it really difficult to swallow. So it's known as hydrophobia. It's not that you're fear of water, but it's just the swallowing mechanism. But that, unfortunately, that is fatal, and there is no cure past that.
Guys, thanks so much for coming in, because you know, you're in the fog of grief at the moment, and I know you need to channel that grief somewhere, and you're doing it so bravely with us. What's the one message you would like to send to anyone who is thinking about going to that part of the world for a holiday they should enjoy, and and a culture they should dive into? So what's the one thing you'd say to them?
Just check the recommendations from the government. I mean, Morocco was only recommended for rabies. It's not you have to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more of just check. We don't want the people to go through what we've gone through. Seeing your mum deteriorate in 7 days like that. We don't want anybody to see that ever again. So if we can just get the awareness out, just check. Contact your doctor, get the injections. That's all we want. Awareness. 30 years ago, it was on every telly.
I remember it, yeah.
You're so right.
So
you're so right.
our generation are aware of it. My children aren't aware of it, and their children will not be aware of it. So we're just trying to bring out all the information.
Since we've put it out on Facebook to raise awareness, we have had people messages saying that they've been abroad, they've had scratches from cats and dogs, and they've then gone to get the vaccine. So I feel like we are doing something, we're making a little bit of a change, and then if we can do that for one family, then we've made a difference.
You're honestly incredible, all of you, just for being here, for, raising awareness. Incredible.
Don't forget as well, the World Cup's in Morocco in 2030.
That's right.
So anybody that's going, just beware.
Get your jab done. Thank you so much.
Well done, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, I'd been to a very inspiring meeting because I sit on the UK Athletics Board, and on my way back home, they actually put me on a train, and I wasn't alerted that the disabled access toilet was out of order. So as you do when you're traveling, when you're getting on board, you sort of don't start looking for toilets to see whether they're, they're working.
No. And I wonder if the other toilet had have been out of operation, would that train have been allowed to run? Do you know?
I sort of don't think that they would have allowed a train to run without any sort of toilet.
Yeah.
So nobody told you when you got on board there's no disabled toilet. So then you eventually think, right, I need to go to the loo. You find the disabled toilet is out of order. What did you do then, and who helped you?
I definitely had to alert the authorities. I say to them, hey, this is going to be a very long journey for me, and I need to relieve myself. The lady who was in charge of the train was very helpful. She suggested that they take me off at one of the stations so that I could use the toilet, and then put me on board so that we could proceed with the journey. But the unfortunate thing is, when we got to that particular station, there was nobody, there was no staff on the station to help me. Then, unfortunately, I had the accident.
Did you just... oh, that must... Oh, Anne, it's so awful for you.
And
so
as
you
you say,
literally just
embarrassing.
thought, I just have to just go, and you just have to work yourself.
Do you know, but as a human being, you know, and as a mother, as a, you know, as a grown woman, you sort of just don't decide to do it. I'm not 2 years old. I'm not a toddler. I tried to hold as long as I could, and I just couldn't anymore.
Well, at cross-country trains, they say clearly the circumstances of Mrs. Strike's journey were unacceptable. We would like to apologise to her for that. This is the first time, they say, we're aware of such a situation ever happening on one of our trains, and we're still investigating how our procedures for caring for a customer in a wheelchair could have failed so terribly. We are determined to learn from these events to ensure our wheelchair customers receive the quality service they expect when travelling by train. What's your advice to them?
I think my advice to them is they really need to look at how they treat their disabled people. And actually they're wrong, because this is not the first case. I am not the first case. Since I've spoken up, so many people with disabilities have come up and they've shared these horror stories of what they've gone through. You know, we are being robbed of our dignity.
Did they not say that they would, at the other end of your journey, because there you're sitting in wet clothes, very embarrassingly, very uncomfortable, I'm sure, that they were going to get you a car at the other, when you got to your destination? Was that car there?
They promised to get me a taxi waiting, as you know, when I got to the other side, but unfortunately that was not the case.
How did this affect you? I mean, so embarrassing on the train, but what about afterwards? How long did that stay with you?
Do you know, I covered myself with a hoodie because I was so embarrassed in case someone that knew me, you know, could identify and sort of say, oh, Anne, what's the matter? It embarrassed me. I used perfume to disguise the smell.
Yeah.
That is not what should be happening in this day and age. I got home, I was crying, you know, I was sobbing. I had a shower and I just flung myself on the bed and cried for a long time.
We're talking about, we would love to think this was some sort of one-off incident. It could never possibly happen to anyone else again. Unfortunately, we don't think so. This was you out shopping yesterday, and just talk us through just daily things that, you know, most people wouldn't begin to think about. What are you experiencing here?
This is what happens, you know, this is supposed to be a ramp, but you can see how steep it is.
Yes.
You know, when you are in a wheelchair, you just want to go on with your everyday life. You want to be able to do things, but it's not the case, you know.
You're strong. I mean, you're an athlete.
Now, this is a shop door we're looking at here.
This is a door. You know, we are talking of access. I should just be able to go in and, you know, just
Could I ask you a question? Many, many years ago, in the early 1980s, I went to help a lady in a wheelchair through a door, and she shouted at me. She turned and she snapped at me, and it really affected me. I thought, oh, what is the protocol? What is the procedure? What is, when you're trying to be helpful and sometimes people want to seem independent, what's the guidance?
I think the best thing is to ask whether they need a hand. You know,
they'd like a hand.
Whether they would like that support, because I think you'll sort of realize that the majority of people with disabilities, they don't want sympathy, they want opportunity, and that's what we are constantly crying of. So I think maybe the best thing is for you to sort of ask whether, would you like me to help you? Do you want any assistance? And that is the best way to go about it.
I had, if ever I had an education in this, was this year when I had the 2 hips replaced. And for a brief period, I was in a wheelchair on crutches, and you see the world in a completely different way. Completely different way. You see it from your view, from your level, and you see the hurdles there are out there, so many of them.
Do you know, like, you know, when we talk of accessibility, you know, the shop and restaurant owners, they're the ones who are really losing out, because it's estimated that the disabled population in this country, UK alone, could contribute to up to about £250 billion.
Yeah.
And
listen,
thank you very much
for highlighting. We're so sorry that happened to you, but as you said, it started a conversation. It's got people thinking. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed that, there's more of the same right here. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss the best moments from this morning.
What were the circumstances that led to the note?
So it was my ambulance. We were sent to a very unwell man who we found out now has sadly passed away. We were on scene for about less than half an hour, trying to stabilise him before we could take him to hospital. And we were straight out of his house into the ambulance, so they could all see us and how busy we were. And I believe there was a gentleman parked behind us who was trying to get onto his drive. Sadly, our ambulance was partially blocking the driveway. He, at some point, left us a note. We weren't made aware of this until we got to hospital, where our colleagues at the hospital then told us about the note.
Let me read this note. We could name him, but we're not going to. We've decided this morning we're not actually going to name him. He said, "You may be saving lives, but don't park your van in a stupid place and block my drive." And then this gentleman has apologised profusely. What I did was monstrous, but I'm not a monster. There's no justification for what I did. I'm deeply ashamed of my actions. I feel truly sorry and completely regret what I did. Is that enough?
I think it's obviously he's said sorry. He's obviously aware of what he did was wrong, and he's trying to make amends for it. Would he have said sorry if it hadn't have gone so public?
Yeah, that's
is
a very
the question.
Situation. And of course, I mean, his point of, I know you're trying to save lives, but don't block the driveways. In your line of work, as unavoidable sometimes, you are mindful of other people, of course you are, but when it comes to saving a life, time is of the essence.
Yeah, sometimes we haven't got a choice. We don't actively go out to block someone in or block someone's drive. If we walk in and actually decide it's not too bad, we can move the ambulance, and we will, and we do every day. But sometimes we just can't help it.
7 months ago you qualified?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've been in the service for, is it 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
What made you both want to do this job?
I just love to be with other people, meeting different people, getting to help people in there when they need us.
And your grandfather was also, he drove ambulances, did he?
He did a similar job in the army,
right,
when he was obviously a lot younger.
What about you, Sasha?
So I wasn't unsure whether I wanted to be a midwife or a paramedic. I did a lot through St John ambulance, and it pushed me more towards the ambulance side of it. My granddad died of sepsis, and the paramedics that looked after him were amazing. So.
Well, that's a note is one thing. And it's deeply distressing. You're doing your job, you're attempting to save a man's life, and someone is stupid enough to put themselves forward because they can't get into their drive. But it's much, much more than that. And you have had physical injuries.
Yes.
How have you been hurt?
I've had my wrist broke by a patient.
How did that happen?
So we were in the back of the ambulance, and I was attempting to cannulate him. And as I attempted to put the needle in, he was aware of everything that was happening. He lashed out with his feet, and because I was bent over, I tried to protect my face with my wrist. He happened to be wearing steel toe cap boots.
Oh, God.
He got 14 months suspended sentence and 150 hours community service.
And it's just not just men either. You've also been hit by a girl.
Yeah, I've been hit around the face by a girl who had already been arrested for assaulting one of our other colleagues.
Yeah.
I've been spat at multiple times.
And she got community order and a fine.
Yes.
And Natasha, I mean, as we said there, you've only been doing the job for 7 months, but you've already been threatened as well.
Yeah, so I've been in the service for longer, just a paramedic for 7 months, but I've been spat at. The patient had hepatitis C, so obviously there was concerns over whether I'd contract anything. There's been endless verbal abuse, sexual comments as well.
And so you've been groped as well?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just two girls going to work, trying to get on with their life, trying to save other people's lives. Does it put you off the job that you've chosen? Because both of you got into this because almost like a calling in a way. You loved it, you wanted to do it. Does it ever make you think, do you know what, this just isn't worth it?
No.
No. The good side of our job, obviously, we get to help so many people and be a benefit to their life.
Yeah.
Definitely outweighs the bad side.
It must make you nervous, though, to go, particularly when there's two girls together. Do you prefer it when there is a male paramedic? Because, I mean, you were saved by a male paramedic that managed to restrain the guy.
Sometimes being girls, obviously, helps de-escalate situations.
Yeah.
Obviously, other times it doesn't. I do occasionally feel a lot safer when there's a man there. It feels like somebody's there watching your back.
This is yesterday. Paramedics were attacked as they helped a patient in Camberwell in South London. The ambulance workers were repeatedly pushed, threatened and verbally abused in a row over parking. They were said to be shaken, didn't suffer any serious injuries. The alleged attacker had been arrested. A total of 2,300 paramedics reported being attacked last year whilst on duty. That's 47% up from 5 years ago. Around 6 violent assaults take place on ambulance workers in Britain every day. This is a story you must hear from your work colleagues all the time.
Yeah. We walk into the crew room and it's a news story of who's been assaulted or who said what to
Do you know of people who've left the service because of this?
I don't know anybody personally, but I've heard stories about people who have been injured and not been able to return to work because of their injuries.
So you're hoping that the Assaults on Emergency Workers bill will come into force to offer you some sort of protection. How will that bill make a difference?
It gives the courts a lot more power to bring in more harsher sentences. There is powers there that they can use already, but I think it brings it to the forefront because it's an aggravating factor once this bill's passed, if it's passed.
Well, the new legislation would double the maximum sentence for common assault on a paramedic from 6 months to a year. And so, fingers crossed for you that it is begun to be taken seriously. Is that enough?
Obviously, we'd prefer it if there was less assaults, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. But it will give us more confidence when we do have to go to court that actually something might be done. Because at the moment, we've all got the attitude of the police will do their best, but once it gets past the police, we know it's not going to go very far. The person that spat at me got a longer suspended sentence than Amy's, and she got her wrist broken.
Yeah. Inconsistent.
Yeah, very.
Where we live is very rural, and he cycles on his bike to the village post office and leaves his bike there and then gets the bus to school. But when he didn't come back initially, I drove up to the post office. There was no sign of his bike. So I came home and we thought, well, perhaps he decided to cycle all the way into school, because he had not on a school day, but he had cycled down to Collerton before. But then when he still didn't appear, we started to get very, very anxious because it had never happened before. And
what sort of a boy is he?
Well, he is quite adventurous. We've always encouraged the children to be sort of independent and,
Well, his siblings had just come back from sort of gap years. They've been travelling around the world.
Yes, and his older brother particularly has travelled quite extensively. We think actually he was quite anxious because his sister was just starting university this year, and he wasn't looking forward to being at home
on his own.
Yeah. With them both away. And he's at that age where, as a 15-year-old, he doesn't want to do everything with his parents, but he's quite happy to do things
and they're very
as
close.
a family.
He's very close with his siblings?
Well, there's a bit of an age gap, and his older brother has been away for a year already. And of course, his sister being 18 has a sort of active social life. So I wouldn't say they were close, but, we did
family holidays together.
And what about you guys, just in the lead up to him going? Because we're going to read a letter in a moment that you received the next day from him. So this took planning. He was ingenious in his planning.
Yes.
But no hints, no rows, no concerns, nothing.
No, this was which is so kind of baffling for us, is we really didn't know. I mean, I did speak to him a bit over the summer because I was concerned that he wasn't socialising. And sort of I talked to him about that, and he sort of led me to believe that he thought when he went back to school that, he would... his friendships would improve. And we asked him whether he was unhappy at school, but he said that he was happy at school. He didn't appear to have any issues with it.
Did you spend a lot of time online?
Well, he spent quite a bit of time in his bedroom over the summer, which and I used to go up there and sort of knock on the door and sort of find out what he was up to a little bit, because it worried me. But he was an avid reader, so he read a lot. And we did, you know, we talked quite openly about, you know, what he might have been doing online and that sort of thing, but he wasn't forthcoming. He really didn't want to share anything with us.
The letter that you received the next day shed a little bit of light on this. It said, "To Mum and Dad, I've run away because I'm bored of my life. Please don't try to find me or make me come home. I don't know how long I will be away for, but it won't be any longer than a year. You'll find my school uniform in a bin bag in a small barn in the field on the green down the road from Membry Church. My bike is chained to the fence. There is a spare key to the lock of the window. Please could you apologise to the restaurant and tell them that I will no longer be able to work there. I know you will be upset, but understand that I have to do this. From Arthur." The fact that he says in this letter that he will return in under a year, does that make it any easier?
It does. It implies that he intends to come back and do his A-levels in 2 years instead of the 3 that his school normally do.
Which is what his sisters and brother did. They did 2-year sixth forms. But
so I think, you know, in a way he's thinking of this as a gap year early or something. But clearly he's only 15. He's not spent much time in cities. He's had a fairly quiet life in the country.
He didn't take his passport. He only took £350 with him.
No mobile phone.
No mobile phone. He took almost nothing. I mean, this is the other thing that we find baffling, because he had done 10 tours and we'd done camping trips and things. And we thought, well, if he was heading off, he would have gone equipped. I mean, he didn't even have waterproof shoes on his feet. So
do you believe, looking at that evidence, that it looks like he knew where he was going? This wasn't a chance, I'm going to disappear in a puff of smoke. He knew where he was going?
Well, the problem is that there's absolutely no evidence. The police have been through his phone and they found no search history, nothing.
No CCTV?
No CCTV
We've looked at
footage.
hundreds of hours of camera footage in the local area and there's been no sign of it.
That's odd in itself, isn't it? You'd think that was nearly impossible nowadays.
Well, yeah.
Yes, I mean, it really is baffling.
And he took hair clippers as well, so there's every possibility, which is a strange thing to take, but there's every possibility he could now have a shaved head, so he could look completely different.
Yes. We think that was probably to try and make himself look older.
Well, you know, his friends haven't had any contact that you know of. You as a family haven't. No online presence whatsoever. What you do have now is a camera, and it's that one there. And what would you like to say to him if he's watching today?
Arthur, please, please, just make contact with us. We're just desperate to know you're safe. I just don't think you can possibly realise how agonising this has been for us.
If you don't want to ring home, there's a charity called Missing People, and the number is 116 000. And you can talk to them confidentially and they'll pass messages on to us. But better still, just come home or ring us and we'll pick you up from anywhere.
OK, all right, thank you. I hope you get an end to this pain very soon.
Thank you.
Oh, I always get emotional on things like that.
We do. 3 of the top proposal team join us now. Lily, Henry and Annette. Morning, everyone.
Good morning. This is great, isn't it? You've literally turned your jobs into a TV show. We was watching it last night. It was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Will You Marry Me? And it basically follows lots of different stories, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lily, tell us a little bit about it.
So it follows basically the lives of what we do and what we love. We got 9 proposals of people, and it's so different. It's one extreme to the next. And it made us realise there is literally not a standard way to propose.
No, there isn't.
Some of the things I get asked, I'm like, really?
Give us some of those things. What do you get asked?
Like, we get asked... I got one who was obsessed their first date was at an ice cream parlour. I was like, cute, that's really sweet,
Some lot
stunning.
to work with.
I love ice cream.
Yeah, fine. We couldn't... No, he wanted the ring in the ice cream.
Oh, in
like,
the ice cream?
Dug in.
Oh,
Is that a blatant health and safety no?
I said I don't think health and regulation's going to stand for that, but she loved it afterwards. I like put it on her finger, and I was like,
"Did she?"
I don't know how.
But it was freezing cold, weren't it?
It's a bit sticky.
A bit sticky, yeah.
And you've had a proposal for a footballer, Lily?
Yeah, we've done quite a few footballers. We had one that gave us 4 hours' notice.
No.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell us who gave you 4 hours' notice?
Diego Dallet.
All right, Diego.
What's going on, Diego? They're forward planning, please. I want to do it now.
Yeah, there was forward planning. It was going to be, so he was coming down to London, and it was going to be in like the day after he had reached us, and we was like, that's fine, like, sort it, leave it with us almost. And then he just texted us, didn't he, like, what about tonight? Like, I'm here, what? And we was like, I'm obviously not going to say no.
And he had the ring on him and everything.
Yeah, when he had texted us, he was already on the train down.
Did you guys do Aaron Ramsdale's proposal?
Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal fan. We love Aaron.
I did. It was one of my first proposals I'd done like when I started working.
You get all the footballers, don't you?
I
feel like you
did.
literally do it all.
Come to the Lily. Lily.
You just get on with it.
How do you get into this industry?
Yeah.
It's quite a unique industry it's quite niche, right?
Yeah.
So, and how did you get into it?
Well, I like to say I manifested the job. I heard about the proposers on TV 10 years ago, and since then I've done all sorts of different things. I baked cupcakes, and I was a travel agent for a while, et cetera, et cetera. But when I got married, I thought it was time to go into event planning, and I remembered the proposers, so I reached out to Daisy, our founder, and the rest is history.
What was your proposal like when you got married? Is it a goodie? Or is it a bit dry?
I love this story.
Go on, Anna.
He did well. He did well. He took me to a Michelin star restaurant, and after that, he had our hotel bedroom decorated and everything, and it was very cute. And he wrote a speech that was just so lovely, so we were both on the floor crying.
That's so lovely.
Yeah, he's amazing.
One of the proposals that you organised in that was actually in Santorini, wasn't it? And it involved a bit of a workout. Tell us about that.
So I do a lot of the destination proposals, and we get to travel pretty much everywhere on the job.
Yeah.
So wherever a client wants us to help him to pop the question, we are there. The Santorini proposal was definitely one of my favorite. It involved, the day started essentially with a workout on the beach. And then as they ran on the beach, they ran into a picnic setup that we created for them. They had a picnic, then horses came in.
Stop it.
The horses were a bit wild, but they still enjoyed their ride, and we had little signs.
Beautiful, look at this.
I've got two questions. If you're involved in the destinations ones, in many ways, it looks glamorous and wonderful, but that must be harder because when you're local, you've got your set teams and people you know you can work with and people you can rely on. Well, when you travel far away, these are, I'm sure they're brilliant, but they're not necessarily, you don't know whether you can rely on that caterer or, because you don't have that relationship with them. That must be quite stressful.
And you'd be really hot.
Yeah.
Really hot. Oh my God, that destination Santorini one. I mean, we were on the beach in the middle of the night setting up, and it was just sweat all over.
My second question is, I only just thought about this watching that, is how do you tell a person that's being proposed to that they're being filmed without them knowing they're going to be proposed to?
Yes, that's a good question.
Well, on the TV show, we came up with a bunch of ruses.
Yeah.
So from Kylie's proposal, which I loved her reaction, we told her that it's just an engagement party and the couple really wants to have different bits filmed beforehand. So then she got the shock of her life when it was for her. And for the Santorini one, she just thought it was the longest, best date ever because it started in the morning and it ended in a winery in Santorini, and we did hundreds and flowers, a mirror aisle, everything. So she just assumed...
So they just think there are cameras...
Yeah,
like,
for this
doing a show?
incredible day or...
And Henry, you organised a fake proposal, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That was when I just started, actually, 3 years ago now, for the DJ Tom Zanetti.
Oh, all right.
So, not quite what I expected, but you were really chilled about it, weren't you? And then as soon as I found out, I was like, I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I took it straight out of Anat's hands, and
But
yeah,
it's still like it's a real proposal, isn't it?
Yes, it was for one of his music videos, so we literally set it up the same way as we do any other proposal, treated him like any other client. He got down on one knee, and yeah, you wouldn't have really known it was any different other than the fact that him and the girl weren't together. So.
How did you get into it, Henry? What's your background?
How did I get into it? So yeah, I sort of fell into it really about 3 years ago now, just before Christmas. I saw an ad on Instagram. Originally, it was only for 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, which is one of the busiest times of the year, so we're just going into that part of the year now. And yeah, just carried it on, absolutely loved it. Daisy, our founder, yeah, we got on really well, and she was like, "Do you want to sort of stay on the books?" And
nice. The lovely thing for Henry, like just reading in the brief, it says it's really brought you out of yourself, because you've got to be quite an extrovert to do this, I suppose.
Yeah,
right?
and I never used to be. Like, if you'd have known me 10 years ago, this coming on a show like this today would have been my absolute worst nightmare. I would have come up with any excuse possible.
And now you're loving it.
And yeah, I've done about 130 proposals to date now. And yeah, you just have to get on with it. Like, it really brought me out of my shell. It allowed me to open up about my sexuality a few years ago as well, which was quite a big moment for me, as you can imagine. And yeah, so many things have happened throughout this 3-year period.
What has been the weirdest proposal that you've ever had, or the most expensive?
Yeah.
I want it all the juice.
She wants it all.
Expensive. There's quite a few, isn't there?
So the most expensive proposal we've done was just under £1 million.
Are you actually joking?
He's still drinking.
It's mad, isn't it?
What, they didn't save it for the wedding? That's
He
£1 million
wanted to
just for
go.
the proposal.
Imagine how much the wedding cost then.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what did that involve?
Well, the initial brief was to get their faces beamed on the Eiffel Tower. We made all the phone calls. We couldn't quite do that. So we ended up doing a beautiful after-hours show in Disneyland, and their faces were beamed there.
Wow.
And then it took them to a bunch of different places around the world, ending in Niagara Falls, where their faces were, of course, beamed there too.
You got 100.
Unbelievable.
That's insane. You got 100% success rate. Do you ever tell people no? Like, do you ever go like, you shouldn't be doing it, you shouldn't be wasting money like this? Or do you go, I mean, you can't, right? This is your business. So
no, they were like,
have we ever said
spend
no?
£1 million. We take a little cut.
Have we ever actually said no to anyone? I don't know.
No, I'd feel awful. I could never.
I mean, like you said, we've got 100% yes rating,
Yeah.
so we've clearly done the job right every single time. But
Well, that's my thing. I think if they're at the point where they're coming
Yeah.
to us, you've got to know your partner.
you'd hope.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
Lily, Henry and Nat, thank you so much for joining us. You can check out Will You Marry Me on channel4.com
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
So why? Why do you want to be this Peter Pan mum?
Well, nowadays, I think we all live longer and we like to look better and fit with how we feel inside. I mean, I still don't think I'm as old as I am. I still think I'm 30, so I don't want to look 52.
Yes.
Why Jessica Rabbit?
Well, it was just a bit of a joke because my waist is nipped in and I've got big boobs and I've got the big penciled eyebrows, so that was it. I just sort of got nicknamed Jessica Rabbit.
Well, these sort of nips and tucks don't come cheap, do they?
No.
We think somewhere in the region of about £80,000.
Yeah, that's right.
So how have you afforded that? Because you're a health and safety associate.
Yes, that's right.
So is it on credit?
Well, obviously I do that work and I do it online and I get good money for that, and then credit plays part of it.
So have you maxed out your credit card? Okay,
Yeah,
so essentially you're in debt. It's put you in debt.
Yes.
Gosh, wow. And it's also put you in trouble health-wise as well, because all the surgery you've had, there have been moments where it's gone wrong.
Yeah, that's right. I had liposuction on my legs, and I was warned before the operation that there may be slight grooving. I wasn't prepared for massive grooving and ripples, and whereas my legs before were okay, now I won't even go to the water's edge on the beach without having a wrap around me.
Because you've been left with
these horrendous legs that I really need to have repaired.
So do you regret that now?
Totally. I think it was because I'd had my breast enlargement with the surgeon. He recommended his colleague, and because I'd been happy with the breast enlargement, I decided to go with his colleague. And I had it done under twilight and I was in agony. And then even the next day I could see there was something wrong with them. And the nurse had also told him to stop during the procedure.
So you believe that, and obviously we can't go into too much detail there because we don't have his side of the argument, but you believe that if there is a circumstance where a surgeon has behaved in a manner which would disappoint you, to put it mildly, there should be a naming and shaming.
Yes.
You should be able to name these people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can go onto Good Surgeon Guide and other sites like that and, do a review of your surgeon. But I think it'd be better if you just had the plain list of all the names and shames, and it'd be easier.
The trouble is, though, when you have this you have as much as you've had, they will all say, if you have this sort of cosmetic surgery, it runs an element of risk. You put yourself at risk by having it.
Yes, and I did sign an agreement to that, but when you're told slight ripples and you've actually got huge indents, that's not a slight ripple. So I think if you're warned of certain things, but then it goes beyond it, then they should be held responsible.
But it hasn't stopped you wanting more.
No, no.
What are you going to have now?
Well, I'm going to have my legs repaired, and then I want something done with the bottom of my face. I don't know whether a neck lift or a lower facelift. And then I think I'm going to go for the designer vagina as well.
Wow, so you've got a whole shopping list here.
Yeah, definitely.
More credit, more debt. And what about your love life? Because you're a single lady, so but you have quite a specific type of guy that you go for, and that is much younger than you. What's your age limits?
Well, sort of up to about 35.
Why? What do you get from the younger men?
I just prefer them. I've had a couple of relationships with guys a similar age to me or 5 years younger, and I found them to be an absolute nightmare. They've just been so horrible to me.
In what way?
Well, bullying and expecting me to do things, and with the younger guys it's easier. You can go out, you know, they go shopping with you, and I always have so much fun with them. Lots of laughs and giggles, whereas the older guys don't want to do that.
And are you looking for a lasting relationship, someone you can settle down with?
I don't know really, I quite like being single, you know, so just see how the one I'm in at the moment goes. But I can't see myself getting married or anything like that.
Well, you've got two sons, one's 17, I think one's 27.
Yeah, that's right.
And you date well within their sort of age range, don't you?
Sometimes,
18
yes.
plus. So what do they think about it?
They don't really talk about it to me. I don't think they essentially approve of it, but...
They've described it as uncomfortable, I think.
Yes. Yes, they're uncomfortable when the people are close to their age. And obviously I wouldn't see any of their friends either, anything like that. You've got to have some boundaries.
Are you addicted?
Probably, yeah, but I'm not doing any harm, and I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't really spend money on very much, so this is what I like.
Is there a worry that that because you are constantly in search of the perfect you outwardly, that you can't hold back time forever? That eventually your face will get frightening?
Yeah, probably. But when I think about like Joan Rivers, I mean, OK, her face was a bit pulled and nipped too much, but she was 80, wasn't she? Something like that. And if you can be 80 and have a face like that, I don't see what the problem is.
And as you say, not doing any harm to anyone.
No, exactly.
But you might be doing harm to yourself. I mean, this is always the worry, isn't it? That you go into any sort of surgery, you have got your 2 children, and that responsibility you have towards them, but yet that doesn't stop.
No, because I make sure I'm always really healthy before the surgery. I'll take vitamins and I'll take arnica for the bruising. So I'm fully prepared when I go in, and I've never had a problem with an anaesthetic before.
OK.
So...
Oh, good luck. Will you tell your
good
sons
luck.
when you go in for your next set of treatment?
I don't know, because usually I tell them afterwards, because otherwise they'll tell me not to. Yeah.
Okay, well, stay safe.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Hello, YouTube. For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
If you're injecting yourself every day with this human growth hormone, which is incredibly dangerous.
It can be incredibly dangerous.
So aren't you thinking about your children then?
I think, I mean, the media have obviously blown out huge stories yesterday. Mum of 3 injects Class C drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink.
But you are a mum of 3.
I am a mum of 3,
injecting
that's correct.
Class
I am
C
injecting
drugs.
Class C drugs, that's correct.